All right, let's get this thing going. How's everybody doing? Been a while. I see some familiar faces in the chat room. That's good to see. You'll have to excuse me today. I'm running this by myself because either everybody seems to be either dead, dying, or doesn't give a shit. So that's okay. That's okay. I understand. But we're going to have a good time. We're going to have some good discussions. We're going to talk about a few things, and I'm going to let you guys know where the hell I've been this last year. And let everybody know what the dealio is. First of all, Merry Christmas if you give a shit. If you don't, then that's fine too, because to me, it's just another day, really. We have lost so much of what, the meaning of what Christmas is that it really, most people just, it's not about meeting with family. It's not about any of that anymore, as much as it used to be. Those days are all long gone. So now it's about gifts and getting drunk and just trying to forget everything, pretty much, I guess. But, can you blame people? So let's first talk about some housekeeping. I was looking back on my YouTube channel, and I think I did one previous video before this, and then the one before that was the last time I broadcasted, which was last year's Christmas hangout. So I don't know. Maybe that this channel will just be a huge collection of Christmas Day hangouts. Maybe that's what it will be eventually, my channel. It's be 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 every year. There won't be any more videos. It'll just be hangout collections. But anyways, so this year, I was very busy working 2 jobs, really. And I was working 2 jobs, not because I financially had to, but mainly because I was trying to build up a skill that I was working in the skilled trades. Well, it turns out that the company I worked for was not benefiting me the way that it needed to benefit me. So I had left that, and so now everything is back to normal, so to speak, when it comes down to my work schedule. It's been a while, and it's something crazy when you think about it. Going from working 6 days a week to cutting that in half and only having to work maybe 4 or 5 days a week is completely mindfuck to me. It's very different. It's strange having all this time off. It's been so long since I did that it's just odd. It's odd to have this much time off. It's almost like you don't know whether to be happy or sad. But anyways, it's nice. It's nice to work and have time off. Everybody needs it, and I will tell you from my own personal experience, having 1 day off is not enough. You need to have at least 2 if you're working 5 days a week. You got to have at least 2 days off. You can't just have 1 day off. This is not enough. All the time that you spent during the week working, you're either too tired or don't care to do anything. Now, you make up for all of it on that 1 day. Most of the time you're going to sleep in because you worked all week. It's just not work. It just doesn't work that way. It's hard. It's hard to do it. So I decided to let that job go. And maybe I might get into it later on today when we're talking. Maybe I won't. I'm trying to give too many details about that, but whatever. So anyways, man, what on earth has happened this year that, it's almost like it was just a continuation of last year, really. I mean, that's all it was, except just a little bit more stuff thrown in the mix to make everybody's lives a little bit more difficult. But before I get into some of that, I should say, what is everybody going to be doing for Christmas? Number one, I'm going to be doing nothing. Absolutely nothing. I'm going to sit here. I might go over see a family member or two. And then after that, I'm going to relax because I have to work tomorrow. I took this whole week off and it felt good too. Now I have to get back to work. So, but um, definitely learned a lot about myself working as much as I was this year. I learned a lot. I learned about time management and learning how valuable time is, and also how important it is that you need to get rest, because that was one thing I wasn't getting. And I can tell you that there's definitely a huge change in your ability to function when you don't get sleep. And that's kind of obvious to all of us here, but man, when you actually do it, it's a whole nother thing. So, this year has been full of surprises and things, but I don't want to look at what everybody else does, which is this looking back on, the year and what everybody did. Although I'd rather like to look at things to do that would benefit all of us. I think some skills to acquire and some things I think that would help everybody this coming up year, and things to think about. I think we're gonna be going through, depending on where we live in the United States, I think we're gonna be going through a lot more inclement weather and a lot more erratic weather patterns I've noticed. And I think the last time that we got that, I think it might have been last year, right? Was it last year? I believe we got a lot of snow. I think the whole state ended up getting a lot of snow. Well, it snowed in for like 2 weeks. We didn't go to work for 2 weeks. I remember that. So, things like getting prepared and stuff for bad weather, even at the smallest amount of levels, is very important. I think we're going to get hit with another snowstorm this year. That's what I think. I think personally, we're going to get hit with another snowstorm, and it's going to blanket the United States. Let's see here. Okay, Warhorse, I just got your message there. I didn't know that you sent me one. Let me send you a link. Okay. It's been a while since I've done this, so. Okay, there we go. There you go, Warhorse. I just sent you a link there. So we might have Warhorse joining us here in just a minute. But, I think we're going to be going through a lot more inclement weather, and it's important to get prepared. Right now, I'm actually interested in getting a pickup truck. I've never really had a pickup truck before, but I think I'm going to start needing one. Having four-wheel drive on a vehicle is really good feature to have, and also have the ability to tow things and haul things is also a really good feature to have. And it's something that I want, even though I live in an area where we don't get a lot of snow, and it's kind of rare that we do. When it does happen, you're going to need a four-wheel drive vehicle. Everybody up north knows this. People in the South, not so much, but people in the South also have, four-wheel drive vehicles for other reasons, farming and whatnot, having to get in and out of land that's difficult to get in and out of. So four-wheel drive vehicles are just something that's very important to have. I remember last year when we got all that snow and we got stuck in the drive. I got stuck in my driveway when I tried to pull out to go to work. And, I got stuck in the driveway, and I was stuck in the driveway for like almost 2 weeks before the snow around the tires actually melted enough that I could get the car back into the garage. It was a nightmare. It was a disaster. I think it was also ice and sleet and snow. So we got like a layer of every one of them. And so it was just, I think I remember I had to take boiling hot water and pour it around the tires to try to melt the ice so that I could get my car back into the garage. Cause it had been almost a week and 5 days at that point. And I'm like, I got to get my car back in the garage. And so that was a fun experience. If I had a 4-wheel drive vehicle, that never would have happened. That never would have happened. But you live and you learn, right? So that's a goal of mine. I want to get a truck. Warhorse, if you have any problems, let me know getting in. Just shoot me a message on Google Hangouts. I have it open. There he is. Welcome, Warhorse. How are you?
Okay. Oh shit! Let me shut down the other audio. Okay, there we go. Oh shit! Now I can't hear.
Oh, there we go. How about now?
Okay. All right, we're good. It's been a while since I've been on this shit too.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute. It's let me see. What do I need to do here? I think I'm getting an echo still. Where's that echo coming from?
Probably mine. I can't use the headset. Haven't used it so long that the damn thing is it's not working. So
that's okay.
It might be my microphone. Let me turn it around. Maybe this will be better further away. Do I
test? There's still a little bit of an echo, but I mean we can live with it. It's now it's gone.
Okay, good.
There we go. Yeah, now it's gone. I don't hear anything now.
Good. All right.
There we go.
Talk out of the side of my mouth here.
Put a little pantyhose around there. Maybe it'll help out a little bit.
Pantyhose over my head?
No, around the mic. How you been, Warhorse?
Well, I don't know. I guess you could say about the same as anybody else with all the shit going on.
Yeah. Nothing much has changed, really, has it? It's just another day in shitland, pretty much.
Yeah. I don't know. I've been so disgusted with people that I really haven't gone out much. The stupidity is just so much, and dealing with people that I've really kind of crawled under a rock, and I just don't want to deal with it. The whole stupidity of this game that they've been playing with us here for the last 2 years. I don't know. It took the steam out of me to a degree. Just of having any kind of enjoyment of doing things, and that even includes doing videos. So
yeah, I understand.
And really, if you're not talking about what's how now and wow today, with a what 5-minute news cycle, trying to keep up with it to me is useless. And
yeah,
I don't know. It's just doing my own thing and kind of enjoying what I have is more important than going out, or and I mean, for the past few years, I haven't been big on going out anyway. So really, to me, nothing much has changed when you're talking about a social life.
What social life? We don't have. Well, that doesn't seem like most people have a social life anymore. It's like I look around at people, and I was just talking about that when I when I started here. Christmas is not at all what it used to be. Now it's just about trying to get people to buy the latest thing. I mean, next year it's going to be, next Christmas is probably going to be like, what do you want for Christmas? I want the new vaccine for Christmas, and they'll give them a box with a vaccine on it, with a bow on it. And the world's changed so much.
Yeah. Oh, it's coming, or you get a box of masks or, stupid shit like that. I'm reading where people are uninviting people that haven't been jabbed, and I mean that's kind of stupid bullshit. It's obvious people aren't doing their research at all, and they're just going by what they've been told. And these are the same people that for years and years have been saying, "Yeah, I don't trust the government, I don't trust the news, and we know they're lying and everything." And all of a sudden, it's like, oh no, they're the experts now, and I believe everything they say, and they're not providing any evidence. That's what's getting me. is, if you want to convince me of something, show me evidence.
Absolutely, and they haven't. And mind mind repart says everyone seems to be irredeemably stupid to me now, and that's pretty much the damn truth. I agree with that. I mean, because everyone is. I mean, it's, and you say people. And I bet you, I bet you, it can't go without saying that this year there are people that are opening up presents right now as we speak, and they're masks. They're like, "Oh, we got you some masks, and we got you some gloves, and some hand sanitizer, and all this." And I'm just like, "Oh my god." That's going on right now. People are opening up little presents and giving Jimmy a little a packet of masks to wear at school because of the Omicron variant or whatever the hell's going on. And it's just everywhere, and it's going on right now. And I find it funny to think that that's what's going on. And people are getting medical supplies for Christmas, but it's just kind of silly. But God only knows what in the hell is going to happen this coming up year. To me, it seems like all years are the same. There's just different events that take place. But I think I heard now they're going to be limiting, because I try to keep up to date with news. I try to, I mean, not with mainstream garbage, but I try to keep my ear on what they're telling the public because it will eventually, affect people on levels that aren't involved at some level or another. But I think I heard that they're going to be, let's see, they're going to be limiting the amount of crowds at that ball drop event that they have every year in New York, which I don't care about. I stopped watching it when I was like 12, I think.
Yeah.
But it's very weird, and it's kind of almost disturbing because last year I wanted to see it because of all the stuff that was going on. It was something that had never really been done before, at least for a holiday. I wanted to see what it looked like, and man, it was kind of disturbing. They had like these inflatable, those things that they put out in front of car dealerships, or it's just an inflatable waving arm guy or whatever.
Right.
They had those, but they were miniature versions of them for people, so they would fill spots to make it look like people were there with those inflatable objects.
Oh, geez.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, this is dystopian, man. This is crazy. you
Oh, it's
know
going to get worse. I mean, that in the beginning there, when I tried telling or talking to people, making sense and everything, and I'd been doing a lot of research because I have a lot of time on my hands. That's something. I mean, you can call a kind of a blessing for me being retired. I have all this time and not having a social life. I can spend my time looking into everything and talking to people, and that they're like, well, what would be the reason for all this? And I try to tell them look, this is going on all over the world. Doesn't that send off a signal to you, that they're all following the same paradigm? They're all um, pushing this so hard that, I mean, if you had the plague, they wouldn't have pushed it this hard. And there's more to it going on, and I try to tell them this is multifaceted. It isn't just about a, a virus or a flu or the common cold or whatever you want to call it. Uh, I mean, they gave it scary names for a reason, and there it's more than just that. It's multifaceted. There's so many things going on with this. The credit score and having your what is it, the barcode on your phone and all this crap. There's a reason for that, and they're going to continue to push it. Now, the yeah, and we're on YouTube here, so I don't really want to get into this too deeply because they're
Yeah.
going to shut us down real quick. Because you can't talk about facts or anything other than the mainstream narrative, which should send off another signal. So
Mhm.
you know, uh, yeah, it's frustrating, and
Yeah.
after a while, you just say, you know what, to hell with it, fuck them.
Yeah.
Let people believe what they want, let them do what they want, but here's the caveat: stay the fuck out of my life, stay the
Mhm.
fuck away from me. Don't force anything on me. Don't give me shit about a mask or whatever else. If it says on the door you must wear a mask wherever I'm going, fuck it, I just don't go in. I just don't do it. So, uh, The
Everything's
minute,
ordered online now too. I mean, during this whole thing, I've just decided. I mean, I do almost everything online now except for getting my gas and going to work. You know, um, it's been nice. All my groceries when I go to the grocery store, I go online and I order them, and then all I have to do is pull into a parking space. They come in and load my car. They load all the groceries in the trunk, and I'm out of there. I love it. I don't have to go into. I haven't been in the grocery store in I don't know how long. It's been quite some time, and it's nice. It's just little things like that. It makes your life a little bit easier, not having to deal with all the idiots and the people. That's a nice thing. That's been a nice little luxury to have, and I definitely take full advantage of it. And everything else, pretty much, I do online. I order everything I need online, and I just try to stay away the best I can because we think differently than the rest of the sheep do, and because of that, we can't associate ourselves with these people for several reasons. Number one, we don't want to because we don't think the same, and also, second of all, they can be a problem. So, but it's been nice to have that and all that. I recently went up and saw family yesterday. Saw I think she's let's see, probably in her at least got to be in her mid 70s. My grandmother, still around. So went up and saw her yesterday to see how they were doing, and she was doing good. Still has all of her mental faculties for now, and all of that. So, but you go up there, you say hi, and you go home. What else can you really do? But so, other than that, most of my Christmases over the last 2 years have been pretty much more or less the same. It's on my other side of the family. We usually do a huge family get together thing or whatever, but everybody eats and then everybody goes home and that's it. But you know, I do think you're right. We haven't seen the beginning of all of this to come, which leads me into another thing. I think one of my topics that I wanted to touch a little upon, and I guess I forget, man. We're on YouTube. We have to be careful about what we say. I haven't been on here for so long that I have to remember. I have to be careful what I say. Part of me just doesn't care, but the other part of me, I know that I have videos on here. If they shut the whole channel down, there's some stuff on there I probably would like to keep up, but nonetheless, this just comes to show you with what we had and some of the important things such as having food set aside and things like this, water are very important, and it doesn't take a lot of effort. It's not as hard as people think it is, really. All you really have to do is sit down and figure out what you eat the most of and then what is storable. After that, start off with a month and then work your way up to at least three. Um, you don't have to be one of these people that stores beans and rice all over the place, because the thing about that is most people are, you if you're in a really stressful situation, and I'm sure Warhorse, you've been through a couple of hurricanes in your life, haven't you?
oh yeah,
Um, if things go bad, and you really don't want to be stuck sitting there eating beans and rice, you kind of want to have some comfort food, if you'd say, to have around. And if it's storable and you like it and you want to eat it, that's what my advice is. It's that simple, really. Store what you like to eat, and if it's storable, store it. And that
the
way,
thing too is right now, at least down here at my grocery store, which is a Publix. Oh, Ripley, get out of here now! My dog's gonna tear the wire out of the computer. Um, the would you stop? Sorry about that. Um, no, the grocery store that I'm at here, which by the way, the going grocery shopping is my only social life. I,
yeah.
uh,
Mhm.
uh, I go very early in the morning to avoid people, and then the cashiers and the bag boys or girls, whatever, they have the time to kind of goof around and talk a little bit. So that's that's my social life, going to Publix. Yeah, but the point I was trying to make is for months now they've had specials or sales on all the canned goods. So whatever type of canned goods, whether it's soups or meats or vegetables or you name it, they've had them on sale, either a buy one get one free or um, any of these storable things that you're talking about. Uh, a lot of the dry food is also on sale and everything else. So every week I go in and I buy something different, whatever they have, and store up on it. So I mean, my freezers are all full, but the problem is if the power shuts down or the gas becomes uh, you know where you can't really get much of it to run a generator, then all the frozen food is going to spoil. So I mean, usually during a hurricane, you've got a little bit of a warning, and you can get your 20, 30 gallons or more of gas to run a generator until the power comes back on. But
Hmm.
this is a different situation now, where we saw in Texas last winter, the federal government mandated they go for more wind powered or green uh,
Hmm.
electric, and then all the windmills froze up, you know, and people, yeah, people were freezing to death, literally,
In
because
Texas.
the power went off in Texas. Yeah,
Yeah.
where they've got oil cows every fucking 50 feet pumping oil, and yet those people ran out of juice, out of power.
Oh, you better believe they're going to keep the oil running. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, but they can't use it because of the federal mandates and shit.
Mm.
Which
Yeah.
I think they've kind of gotten tired of that shit, and that's why the blowback, especially since this potato we have in office, that shut down two pipelines, uh,
Yeah.
driving, now he's sucking Arab cock for oil. I
Yeah.
mean, it sounds cold, but that's what's going on. There's
Yeah.
no denying it. You know,
That and also things going on in the Ukraine with oil as well. I saw something about that where they were, but I think they're having some issue in the Ukraine. I haven't read up all the details about it, but I think they're about to have some war or some skirmish or whatever over there. But what else is new? That's nothing new. Um, I wanted to say this too. You did mention something about generators, and also, if you have a um, chest freezer or a deep freezer full of these things, you're definitely right about that. Having when the power goes out, that's just going to amplify the process of it going bad. One thing that you could do now, if you have a huge deep freezer full, you can't do this. But if you're the average person that has, I don't know, maybe a couple sections of your freezer full of meats and stuff like that, what you could do is get yourself one of those big, huge ice, those like a cooler that you take to the beach, but it's kind of like a big igloo cooler
yeah,
that's
yeah,
probably like 3 by 4 feet.
right.
Get a bunch of ice and just have that ice on retainer if you have space in your freezer. And if the power goes out, if you keep the refrigerator closed and don't open it, it'll stay pretty cool for a while. Once that duration is up, you can take some of that ice that you've already put in the chest while power's gone out. All your meat won't spoil. You can throw it in there, at least for the duration. You can eat it, and it's frozen, so it lasts even longer. One tip, just for average people that want to, at least have something on hand, but they don't want it to go bad too quick. That's one option.
The
There
other
was a
option would be, chicken is a good food to cook, and then you know put it in the refrigerator or whatever. Now it's not going to hold for a month or whatever, but uh, instead of being raw chicken, once it's cooked, you can always heat it up over a barbecue grill or something like that later on, just to warm it up, and or you could eat it cold, really, too. So cooking a lot of this stuff ahead of time. But see, here's the thing: we're not going to get a warning as to when this is happening, like I compared it to the hurricane. With a hurricane, you know that it's coming your way. It gets closer. You start to prep up with, you know, whatever you might need. In this case, we never know when the shit is going to hit the fan for real. So, having 40 gallons of gasoline sitting around, uh, it might go stale. It'll turn to a varnish before you get to use it. And if you try to keep rotating it, well, it's a pain in the ass, pouring from the can into your car, going to get more and everything else. So this isn't quite the same as a imminent possibility of losing her power, like, in the next week or whatever. And this is the whole problem we're dealing with. And when they start trying to force people into doing things that they don't want to do, look at I mean, holy crap, almost the whole world is protesting, which, I mean,
Mhm.
peaceful protests do nothing. It doesn't scare the people, the powers that be.
No, it
uh,
doesn't.
you know they're sitting safely in their mansion. They've got protection, they've got guns around, hired guns.
Yeah.
So they're not worried about anything, and they got enough money to where fuck it, uh, you know, all of them, all the politicians, globalists, the you can bring in the Bilderberg bunch, the what is it, Bohemian Grove,
Hmm.
Skull and Crossbone bunch.
Yeah.
They're all okay. They're fine. They'll be
Oh,
fine
yeah.
through any of it. The only way to get these people to pay attention is to put the fear of God in them and the fear for their life,
Yeah.
which is what they're doing to us. They're using violence against us right now. And people aren't getting it. They're complying. And the more they comply, the more they know they can do shit. And they're going to keep on doing it. That, I mean, this people compare it to the Third Reich, the Nazi and stuff like that. Which, okay, partially that's true, but you can compare it to a lot of things with Stalin, with Mao, the Khmer Rouge. You can put that all into one big bucket, and that's what we're looking at now. You know,
Yeah. And I
it's
agree
not
with
just
you. Waving picket signs and poster board is not going to stop the people that start wars. Okay, that's just ridiculous. I completely agree with that. People seem to think so because it's all staged.
yeah. And
It's
look,
not.
you've got 20 cops or 30 or maybe 50 cops holding a line in front of 2,000 or 10,000 people. And are you joking me? You know, if these people got their shit together, and even in countries that don't have weapons like we do here in America, which we're obviously not using, but uh, holy crap, if you've gotten to the point of Australia or Austria or Germany, whatever, okay, they don't have any guns there. Well, you got these cops that are armed to the teeth. You've got 10,000 people and 50 cops. Goddamn, disarm these sons of bitches, knock them on their ass, take their shit, disarm them, and use it. I mean, this is not rocket surgery. It's like,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. I mean, it's obvious. You can steamroll everybody. They can't stop everybody.
no, and okay, so, some people are going to catch a bullet or whatever, and, that's what you, you,
It's like these soldiers that went, all the soldiers back in World War II that went to the beaches of frickin' Normandy and walked on that beach on D-Day. You're telling me, yeah, they caught some bullets. So people don't have a clue about what it means to, they think that's bad. You haven't seen nothing. And they did it because they knew they had to. So,
yeah, yeah.
people get over it, you know?
Well, the thing is now that people are too comfortable, still too comfortable. And as long as they're comfortable and they keep complying and they keep hoping that things are going to get better, which they're not, they're going to get worse. And uh, until everybody is in a bread line and starving to death, no place to live, then they'll start getting serious. But by then,
I agree.
unfortunately, we've had generations now, what, four or five generations now, where men weren't taught to be men anymore, and they're becoming more effeminate, weaker. Women are becoming more manly than the men are. When that starts to happen, we have a problem because women cannot do what needs to be done. I'm
No.
sorry, it's biologically just not possible.
Yeah.
And as the men are losing their testosterone, uh, they're not capable of doing anything anymore. And you know, after going through a you know, an entire upbringing of a propaganda indoctrination in schools and everything, they don't even want to do anything. They've never known the freedoms that we used to have or the reasons we had them. Not that
Yeah.
we were ever 100% free. I mean, we were always being lied to and told shit that wasn't real. But, you know, I mean, compared to nowadays, holy crap. So,
Yeah, that's a
how,
good point you brought up there. I mean, every day, and you're right about that. At work, you know, it's a good observation. They've lowered the testosterone in men and they've increased the testosterone in women, or the estrogen or whatever. And you're right. I mean, they're basically inverted the roles of society, and they're expecting them to go down these paths, which definitely won't work. And it's been shown that it doesn't work. And I see that at work all the time when I'm at work, man. They put these women, and especially in the job that I work, they put them in there, and they cannot effectively run, you know, a business. They just cannot do it, and they either quit or they end up on drugs or something. They can't handle it, which leads me to the second thing. You know, we you were talking about society, and you were talking about the young people of society. Basically, they're just they're not ready to take on what's about to happen to the country. What do you think is going to be? Because we talk about, and this is something I've always, because I recently have been going through this, and I'll mention it here in a little bit. But let's talk about jobs. What do you think the youth or the people coming up to? I mean, what kind of jobs do you think they're really going to have? Do you think it's going to be a lot of just kind of retail work, maybe, or because we know that they're going off to school, they're getting these degrees that are not going to benefit them at all. They're going to end up in debt. Most of them are going to live at home because they can't afford to buy a house. Hell, I don't even know who the hell can afford to buy a house. The house costs are insane because the
yeah,
lumber prices have gone up, materials have gone up, and blah blah blah.
yeah, jeez.
What do you think these women? What are they going to do? What do you picture a society of these people doing?
Well, this is why the complete population needs to be depopulated for one thing. Okay, because we've got too many people that are useless as to running a you know society. Because a lot of the younger guys, and look, I'm you know, I mean, we got a lot of boomer haters, and I understand that. I mean, I hated a lot of the fucking hippies myself, and I'm a boomer. They were a bunch of freaks that brought this SJW on, but they're not the ones that continued it. You know, so they what will happen is most of the people don't want to get dirty. So the jobs that they're going to be getting are going to be office related, computer related, like you said, maybe retail. Um, Even though the retail end of it is going to be more or less like Amazon, or, and we're all guilty of ordering from eBay, Amazon, whatever,
Uh huh.
because basically they've closed half the places down you used to go to, locally. So nobody willing to get dirty anymore. There will be a few people that are going to be your necessity blue collar worker, the plumbers, the mechanics, the electricians, the carpenters, all the people that you're going to have, because you can't have an infrastructure without these people. Those are the people that are actually going to be making all the money. But you've got to have some backbone. You've got to have, a drive. You've got to man up for that type of job. You can't be a wimpy little pussy and say, oh, gee, I cut myself on this PVC pipe or something, and then run home and take 3 weeks off expecting to get paid while you're off. Those kind of jobs will still be there, but they won't be the predominant jobs. It'll all be in the uh, technology industry. and there are only so many of them to go around. So basically, more and more people are going to rely on the government for their income through welfare, food stamps, you name it, housing assistance and everything else. I mean, college is useless at this point. You know, what people are coming out as, with these gender study degrees and women's studies and all that crap, that's not gonna support anything in the future.
No,
Um,
it's not. You're
you know,
definitely not going to see the liberal arts majors lining up to go be plumbers or work in the sewage department of the public works of the county or anything like that. That ain't
right?
going to happen. So they're
But
like you
look,
said.
we only need a certain amount of people to do these jobs. And when we're looking at what is 7.5 billion people on the earth, um, we don't need that many people.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, yeah,
and I think like I said, the multifaceted prong here of what's going on at the current moment, and we know that a lot of people are kicking the bucket. You know,
yeah.
um, they can't continue on. Even the sports, you see it in the sports. All these soccer players, football players collapsing. Having the
Mhm.
heart attacks and whatever. Um, we actually don't need that many of those people either. You know, they're getting paid way too much money. Uh, so if they bring that down to a affordable level, the people at the top, what we call the elites, which are far from being elite anything other than criminals, are going to make more money, more profit due to having less people to pay. You know, when you pay a guy to run up and down a court with a ball and you're paying them $10 million a year, holy shit, man! That as an owner, you would say, "Look, I could put that money in my pocket." You know, I don't, I don't need 40 or 50 of these guys. I just need 8 of them. You
Yeah,
know,
it's hilarious. It's probably yeah. It's quite ridiculous how we entertain ourselves and the whole process of how all that works in our society. It's just insane. But yeah,
yeah,
I agree. I think a lot of these jobs are definitely going to be moving towards the tech industry. But like you said, the problem is, and I've noticed this when you go to college. I mean, if we think about this, we have people. The traditional way in America is you graduate high school, then you go right into college, working towards. I mean, by that point, you're what 17, maybe turning 18. How in the world are you? And I know I didn't. How in the world are you going to figure out how the hell what you want to do with the rest of your life in such a big investment of anywhere between 50 and $100,000+ in debt? Unless you come from rich parents who are going to pay for all of it, then you can do whatever you want, I guess. But how in the world are you going to justify such a decision with little life experience, no working experience, no knowledge of how all the system works, or nothing, and then blow all that money into a degree that you're probably never going to use? And then once you finally get there, you're going to realize that you have no working experience in that career or degree that you got yourself in. So then you're going to have to go start off working a completely unrelated task to what you got your degree in. So if you were a computer programmer and that's what you got your degree in, you'll end up having to probably work at a help desk, um, getting experience working that before you're even able to move into what you want to do. So, and then you're in debt on top of that. And then the small job that you're working to get the experience isn't going to pay off the debt. You're broke, you got no money, and then you're just screwed. You're miserable. You're not going to stick with it. Um, so that's something that a lot of people just don't. It's just a common how they churn people out. So yeah, college these days is really useless. You need to either. I think we're going to be living in a job economy or a gig based economy, and I don't know how long that's even going to last. I think we've been living in that this whole time, but there's a shortage of people that want to do any of the trade laborers or anything like that or manual labor. Um, so it's just hard to say, but these people getting these degrees, it's just not going to be panning out the way they expected. Addition to all the debt, and they're going to keep raking up. interest rate and all that, to the point where if you even so much as have, a $10,000 loan, shit, it's probably going to double to 20,000 in not too long future. I mean, it's just they're going to make people go bankrupt. So that's why it's important, that people need to have skills. They need to have skills about how to survive. They need to have skills about learning how to put food away. You need to take some cash out of the bank. You need to make sure. And here's another useful tip for anybody: if you're going to store water, don't store it in either gallon jugs or buying a bunch of the plastic bottles. And here's why. Number one, the plastic bottles take up so much more space. And same thing with the gallon jugs. If you puncture them, you lose all your water. You might set it on a nail or something, or maybe even a rat might chew it open, and there it goes, all your water. Depends on, of course, where you keep it and all that, but it's actually better to keep it in a very hard cased or very durable tank of at least 50 gallons. So try to stay away from that. And I get it. Everybody, sometimes you just can't afford to buy certain things and you want to do it this way. That's fine. I get it. But good advice is to store your water in something that's made to be durable. Now, I guess that leads me into Warhorse. We're coming up again on this new year and all this other stuff. What would you think? What do you predict? And that's such a hard thing to answer because we don't really know. But I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot more enforcement of people getting jabbed, and I think we're going to see a big turn this year, especially when it comes down to how it's going to affect economy a lot in society. I think they're going to put a big halt to everything this coming up here. I just have a feeling that and a bad winter.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously they're overstepping their control of trying to force people what to do. I mean, the kind of, not really a joke, is papers please, where the cops are going around and you're sitting at a restaurant and they want to see your papers for the jab, right? Yes, this is going to escalate. I don't foresee any other way other than if people would start looking at the VAERS system. In case anybody doesn't know, that's the CDC Wonder Vaccine Adverse Effects Reporting System, which is way underreported. They're saying it's only 1% reported, but if you read there, if you go into it, now it takes a little bit of doing to get to the place you want to be at, see adverse reactions, death, or whatever. You mark a few things, and there should be plenty of channels on BitChute and Odyssey that show you how to go through the VAERS system. You'd be amazed at what's happening. Now, I think in England they have the yellow paper or something like that that is like the VAERS, where they're reporting what's happening. And my God, it's awful. I mean, holy shit. If the news would report on just part of that, nobody would be getting this jab. But here's the thing, nobody's doing the research on it either. Uh-oh.
Yep.
Did we lock up here?
No, I still hear you.
Okay. I see the chat quit moving.
Let's see here.
Yeah, it's being on YouTube. I mean, I watch this crazy dude called Salty Cracker, and I mean, he's kind of a lunatic, but he got kicked off of YouTube a million times with us. He does like 3 hangouts a week, and he's now on Odyssey and oh Christ, he's on a Rumble and he's just on a bunch of different sites, and I don't know how he's doing that or what he's using to do the hangouts, but basically he goes the first hour of the hangout on YouTube and then he cuts YouTube off and stays on the rest of them and really digs into what we're kind of talking about now, but down and dirty. I mean, the reality of it, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, you always got to watch your back. And basically, once he gets off of YouTube, once he shuts that down, he uh, cleans out that hour worth. He puts it on private or whatever. So yeah, I mean, you know, we can't really bring this down to what it should be, but people need to do a lot more research. So yes, they're going to get more dictatorial in the future because people are allowing it. They're complying. The more they comply, the more the dictators in almost every damn country know they can get away with it. And
Yeah.
basically, the look and what did Biden do during the when he got sworn in? He circled the White House and fencing, Constantine wire, razor wire, got the National Guard in there, vetted everybody. So if you're anything but a Biden uh, voter or Democrat, whatever, you were kicked out of there. Uh, this is the type of thing going on in America, which, holy shit, can you imagine what's going on under the EU?
And
You know, I mean,
I've read into some of that, and it is, man.
it's scary, and I mean,
Oh man, it's crazy.
look, they're looking to do world governance, and basically what we're going to have is we're going to have about uh, maybe three, tops four governments in the world. We'll have the Americas will all be under one governance, just like the EU. Okay, they did it in the EU and got away with it. They punish England because they wanted to get out, and eventually they'll come around with that Boris clown they got. Somebody will capitulate and they'll get back in, and then you'll have in the Middle East and yeah, where else? Or Africa and the Middle East basically might be one, or maybe Africa, the continent, and the Middle East will be two governments. So there you go. You've got four different governments in the world. Wow, wouldn't that be fun? Yeah,
And whatever section of the territory you land on, that's the governance that rules it.
yeah, yeah.
Just like the Hunger Games. This is
Oh,
why I tell people. This is why I tell people my advice is just live a simple life and get used to it. And it's probably for the better too that you do that because you don't want to draw attention to yourself, and that's kind of how I've always lived. I like to keep a low profile. I do not like to draw attention to myself, and it's kind of a safety thing more than anything, depending on where you live, especially. I mean, I tell you what, Warhorse, man, out where I live, they're building subdivisions off the chain. As a matter of fact, the neighborhood that I live in, they this neighborhood has been, let's see, it was built in 2001 or 2002, and it's a neighborhood of about, let's say, low end 20 houses. Well, it's been that way ever since now. People have come and gone and moved out and whatnot, and houses have been sold. But for the most part, everybody in my neighborhood gets along perfectly. Everybody minds their own business. Everybody knows everybody. Anyways, my point is, just now they recently are going to say that they're going to be building more neighborhood subdivisions in the back of our backyards. In a way, it's more of up to this cove where the road continues up the neighborhood. But that's all going to be subdivisions. It's going to be enormous. They're going to put at least 80 houses back there, and each lot's going to be about 2 acres.
wow.
So they're building, and they didn't tell anybody. Like, we didn't get any kind of note in the mail from the development group or the planning or the city or nothing. They just I literally was walking one day to my neighbor's house to give him something, and I look up and there's a sign at the end of the road that just says this is now such and such owned by so and so. And I was just like, what
BlackRock.
the hell? Um, so now they're going to be, oh, and that's not the end of it. So they're going to be doing all that, and there's all kind of problems that are going to come with that. Then, right down across the street from me, down to the left, a few miles down, they're building a huge subdivision, a whole nother one, enormous. You go into town, which is about 15 minutes, and they're building subdivisions in that city off the chain. It's crazy. The whole entire city is going to be, I swear to God, is going to be surrounded by subdivisions. And in the middle of it, they're going to put, like the city, it's going to be your grocery stores, your fast food, your Walmart, but everything around this place, aside from the actual main road, is all going to be subdivisions. Everywhere you look, there's a damn subdivision. There's people that are moving from New York and California. There is an exodus going on right now because those states are going. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the news lately. There is such, the crime in LA is like similar to that movie Purge. You got people, I just saw this the other day. A lady walked into a store in Los Angeles with a goddamn pickaxe. But I mean, like,
Yeah.
then they were having smash and grab robberies every week in
Oh
Los
yeah.
Angeles.
Yeah.
Uh, the cities are just burning to the ground, man. And these people are trying to leave. There's people leaving from all over the place trying to get out of there. And I think they're expecting that. And the reason why they're building all these neighborhoods is because they know this is coming. And everybody wants to move where I'm at. I am like, that's
Tell me
where
about it.
everybody wants to go.
I mean, I'm in Florida, the free state of Florida so far. Um, and I'm seeing I'd say at least a tenfold increase in traffic around here in the last year, maybe not even a year. And most of what we're getting is coming from New York, a little bit from California. And you can tell with the attitude of the people that they're bringing their shit with them. You know, the minute the light turns green, somebody blows their horn. But man, that's not Florida. Never has been. That's New York. That's where they do that kind of shit. But here's the other thing too. They're building all these houses, and I imagine BlackRock and that other company there are heavily involved in it, and a lot of these places are going to become government subsidized for the what how can you call them now on YouTube, for the people that are not of this country coming across the border. So they're bringing them in just like they did in Europe, okay, or still are, to diversify the population. In other words, if you have enough people that are of different how would you call it, a tribes or nationalities or whatever. uh, I mean, you see how it works anyway, right? You're going to go into an area where there's nothing but Hispanic everywhere. You're going to go into another area where it's all black. You're going to go, these people tend to kind of stick together, whereas white people don't do that so much, even though you will go into a more whiter area. Um, so these people stick together. Now, if you put in enough uh, people from other countries to dilute that process where people no longer have cohesion, it's easier to control people that are not cohesive, that are not on the same thought pattern. You know,
I
a
see
lot
what
of the
you're
people,
saying.
yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
the people that are coming in don't, they come from very dictatorial or very dangerous countries, and they don't know what the American lifestyle was like 40 years ago, let's say. So they dilute the pool of people that are going to stand up for this, because what we got now to those people seems like uh, where they've got the life heaven on earth now, compared to us saying, holy shit, this really sucks. This has gotten beyond bearable. So the diluting your population is an intentional thing to not have any type of nationalistic cohesion, not
Yeah.
to be proud of anything, not to be, and then
And
it's just so much to take in.
Warren, have you noticed? I don't know if you've noticed this, but it seems like every other week they're lowering the American flag at half mast everywhere I go. I don't know if it's just me noticing this, but like everywhere I see a flag, it's always at half mast now. It's like, what happened now? And I think what this is doing is psychologically conditioning the American public to, in a way, subliminally see that America is going down.
Well,
I don't know. I mean, it's like before that they would lower the flag for a very serious something that really, really bad happened.
right.
But now they're lowering it for every yin yang and hoopla out there. Oh, a person got shot. We're lowering the flag. Nobody knows who this person is, but because it made mainstream news, they said so. It's going to get lowered. And so this is, I think, conditioning people, whether they realize it or not, to just accept that America is no longer the top. But I've just noticed, that's just an observation I wanted to point out, that I've noticed that happening everywhere I go now. Banks are doing it. Every place that's got a flag's doing it. Schools are doing it. Somebody gets shot, they lower the flag. Somebody gets shot again, they lower the flag again, and it just eventually just stays down.
Well, look, I've quit flying the American flag for a long time now, because I thought about it hard and long, and I thought, well, describe what America is. Describe it now, and you cannot identify it. It has no particular point to it. It's what what is America? Is it San Francisco? Is it New York City? Is it Miami or Texas? Or what is America? Again, we go into the cohesion thing. Um, you can't define America anymore. There's no. I mean, I see this happening everywhere. Germany. I mean, what is Germany anymore? Holy shit! You've got no-go zones. Same thing in England. It's almost like, yeah, the country has a name, but it no longer has any meaning.
It's like America is just basically one big petri dish, is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, but the problem is having a petri dish wouldn't be so bad if people are willing to assimilate to the culture that they're going into.
Yeah.
And that is not happening. Nobody is willing to assimilate. What they're doing is they're bringing their culture with them, and they want to keep that culture, which is kind of ironic because they're running away from it. Why the fuck are they coming here then if they want to keep their culture? Why don't you just stay in your culture? Or try to fix the problems there, because this place isn't any better, and they're going to wake up real soon. All these people jump in the water there, they're going to wake up and find out that this isn't the goddamn land of bread and butter here that they thought it was. It's they're going to want more, and they're going to cry the victim bullshit of racism if they don't get what they want. And everybody's going to get on this poor me bandwagon because they had to run away from some country because, well, they got drug lords. Well, all right, who brought that on in your country? Who let it happen? Just like, look at what we're letting happen now. But you can't get together with anybody here and organize anything. Well, if you tried, 90% of your buddies that you're trying to organize anything with would be FBI and CIA agents.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something. Yeah.
I mean, why even bother trying? You can't trust anybody, and you can't bet anybody. So, they can make up shit. You can look up somebody's name on the internet and everything else, but it's all made up shit by some agent, or some three-letter place. So basically, I mean, the bottom line is we're fucked. You know that.
Yeah.
Uh,
I've come to this conclusion for so much. I've been through this in my head so many times that it doesn't upset me. Um, uh, I tried to tell. You know how you try to inform some people sometimes. You try to let people know um, that what's going on, and they just most people don't want to listen. I usually don't tell people anything, but it's just better that way. I have a friend at work that I talk to and whatnot, but I've tried to tell he's kind of more along the lines of the same page that we're at, but there's still some things that he just doesn't want to come to the reality of, and I've just kind of realized it's just best to keep your mouth shut. Don't tell anybody anything. It's too dangerous to either. Eventually, they're going to get to the point where they're going to have people, and they've been conditioning public for this for a long time with social media. You say the wrong thing, you get banned. Well, that's not going to go into workplace, and it's already has. It's just happening very slowly. You got to watch what you say. You can get in some trouble, legally and for real. And so, do you spend a lot of time? Because I don't. I don't. I used to spend a lot of time watching things like movies and stuff, but now it's just all the same to me. I don't care about any of it. I have a Netflix account that I pay for every month, but I don't even I don't even watch anything on it because it's just all the same to me. You know what? I spend most of my time either listening to podcasts. Maybe I like to play video games. That's another thing I like to do. But and pay attention to what's going on in the world. I live in my own little isolated bubble, because everything around me, I just have zero interest in it. A lot of my motivation for things I used to like are now gone, and more motivation towards things that really do matter are kind of taking priority. As before, I used to have aspirations to try to attain something, or I want to own a business. Now I'm like, fuck that. It's not worth it owning a business. I need to worry about this. So, guess what I'm saying is, do you how do you spend your time? Do you watch movies? How do you keep your mind occupied during the meantime?
well, yeah, I do watch old movies. Um, I mean, after this year of having people like Arnold Schwarzenegger and De Niro and all those, telling us to fuck our freedom and fuck this and fuck that, and they it makes it very hard to watch even the old movies that I used to love, um, knowing what pieces of shit they are. And now look, I was in Hollywood, California, San Bernardino area, and everything back in the late '70s. I went out there for a trip. I took the bike and everything and went out there, and the place was Looney Tunes already back then. You know, um, every chick you met looked good, but they were all going to be movie stars. They were doing all kinds of drugs. They were fucking everybody they could. Thinking or hoping they'd get a leg up, and well, they got a leg up, just not the way they wanted. And I couldn't wait to get the fuck out of that place. And yeah, they are a bunch of freaks. So anyway, getting back, it kind of ruins the whole movie thing for me. Uh, I try to divorce myself from it. It's kind of like, look, I like Ted Nugent's music, but I don't like the guy, the person himself. So if I listen to the music, I try not to think of him, if that makes any sense. You know,
Yeah.
um, then the other thing, I play a lot with computers. I think we talked about it a long time ago where, I was getting into the Linux operating systems and everything. And I've been going off the deep end with that. And that keeps me pretty busy as far as learning and, installing these systems and doing different things with it, which for an old guy like me, I wasn't brought up with this shit. So it takes me probably a bit longer to learn. But
Have you built your own computer yet? I'm sure that you
yeah, I
have.
have.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I have. I've got a total of let's see, one, two, three, four, five. I got 5 working PCs, and I've got 3 laptops, working laptops. So
That's cool.
yeah,
I bet you got a big setup. Imagine having like 10 monitors hooked up to your wall.
no, I've got 3 in front of me here, and then the other computer I use for my main TV on the 55 incher, and use that as a monitor. Uh, that way I can watch, like the History Channel shit, and I like that kind of stuff too. The old stuff. Uh, when they're talking
Watch a little
about
bit of
Rome.
MythBusters.
No, no. I'm not into any of the reality wannabe shows.
Yeah.
Usually, and especially if it has anything to do with mechanical shit, because I know they're full of crap. 90% of the time they're full of Hollywood bullshit. But no, those kind of things keep me busy. Um, and then, of course, the house here, me getting to the age I am, it gets increasingly harder to take care of everything. So it takes longer to do whatever I'm doing. And
And I'm sure it's a pain in the butt trying to find somebody reliable to do it for you, huh?
I can't even find a teenage boy or something to come over here and work for the day, raking up shit or, helping trim a hedge, or I can't even find them. They don't want to work. They
No,
just
I
don't.
don't.
I mean, I can't pay somebody $20-$30 an hour to rake up, some cuttings. Um, that, you know, but they don't even want to work. You can't even find them. And, it's not just, we bashed a lot on women over the years, but it's the guys too. So
Yeah.
I mean, I've hired, I think I've gone through, oh boy, about eight cleaning women just to come in here and clean the floors and dust or whatever, because I get worn out fairly quick. And the first day they come in, they do a pretty good job, and then the second time and third time, it's like they're coming here just to kind of sit and talk, which I don't want to hear them talk.
I know it. I know it. I got to tell you. First of all, let's just welcome Shining. Shining's jumped in. How you doing, Shining?
Hey, Shannon.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh yeah, loud and clear.
You got a good
Oh,
mic there. You got a hot mic.
you want me to turn it down? I have it.
Just a wee bit, yeah.
Okay, 1 second.
Just a smidge.
Let me see.
While he's doing that, I'm gonna go grab a beer.
There you go. How are things, Shining? How has your day been?
It's been pretty good. It's been a okay week. I've got most of my things sorted. As you know, I bought a what's it called now? A new coffee machine, an espresso machine. And you really start to learn about coffee once you get one of those. I had no idea it was so involved.
So
like,
walk us through the process of how an espresso machine works for those who don't know. Tell us a little bit about coffee. Tell us about how it's done.
well, in the UK, we're years behind the US when it comes to coffee. I mean, we're still drinking instant, freeze-dried coffee, and we think that's good stuff. We still think Starbucks is the business. That's how far behind we are. But after you go beyond instant coffee, you obviously have filtered coffee, where you'll get coffee grinds and you'll just pour hot water through a filter. That's decent stuff. That's much better than instant coffee. But after that, you get your espresso machine, which has like I could only describe it as a crucible, where they percolate your coffee and they pressurize the hot water through your coffee grinds. But I think the biggest difference is you need a lot finer coffee uh, as compared to filtered coffee.
Now, espresso grounds are the actual. It's just finer chopped coffee, right?
You see, that's the thing you learn. You start to learn what processes and what affects the coffee, the strength and the taste. I mean, I think you said that. I mean, me and you, we've talked about this before, but I think you mentioned that good coffee was strong coffee, but I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think good coffee has to be enjoyable. You have to enjoy it. I think that's the primary thing, and then after that, it's the stimulant, isn't it? It's the nice caffeine hit. That I think a mild one that lasts throughout the day is better than a hard, which sounds funny because I just got espresso machine, but I don't actually I don't actually like espresso. I use it just to make normal coffee. You just let the water drain through all the grinds, and you just get a normal coffee.
See, Shining has refined the ability to describe a good coffee to the point where it's like a Japanese man describing how he made a sushi for 15 years of his life.
Well, I've been watching all these videos and all these guys talk about coffee and talk about their machines and stuff like this. But yeah, I think if you're a coffee drinker, I mean, I was never a coffee drinker. It was only because everybody at work drinks coffee, so eventually you get into it. But if you're gonna drink it, then do it properly. If you're gonna do something, why not do it to the best of the ability? And if you're gonna put it in your body, yeah, definitely have some level of quality to it, I think.
Yeah, I
think,
do like a good coffee.
The
No.
Cubans down in Miami, they make that coffee in the tiny cup that if you put your spoon in it, it'll dissolve your spoon.
Yeah.
I mean, the shit is so strong, and I guess that's espresso, but they make it so strong that literally it's like mud, And
Yeah, it's not nice. It's not
they
nice, is
drink
it?
it out of these tiny. Yeah, I only tried it one time. I'm like, hell no, and I'm a coffee drinker, but that stuff there, like I said, it'll melt a metal spoon right
Now,
off.
this is coffee that the Cubans make?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I guess it's espresso. They use that type of
acid.
machine where they squeeze it. They squeeze the grounds in a little kind of cup holder thingy, but it's like a press. Where
Oh,
they.
okay.
Maybe I'm using the wrong term for the type of coffee, but the Cubans make that down south. So maybe somebody in the comments section can correct me there. But I tried it a long time ago when it was still safe to go into Miami, back in the 70s.
How's my audio now? Is it too loud?
No, you're good now.
No, it's good.
Yeah, yeah, that is an espresso. I don't like espresso. I think that's just being silly. I mean, you take all the enjoyment out of a coffee and you put it in one gulp. I know people sip it like it's something like exquisite, but I think it's just a bit silly, a bit convoluted, a bit what's the word? People trying to be posh when it's not posh, really, is it? Because it's bitter and it's coarse. It's and also it gives you bad breath as well. So I'm not a fan of espresso, but they call it an espresso machine because they use it to make espresso. But if you're thinking of buying one, I would suggest you get a barista machine. They're much better. They're the ones that all the real experts drink, and it's not difficult to learn. Took me like 10 minutes just to make my first coffee. But what you do learn is the fineness of the grind, how dark you roast it, and stuff like that. But everybody's taste changes. I mean, I like my coffee sweet. I used to like milk, but I discovered I'm lactose intolerant. So people they have like steamed milk, which is nice. You can steam your milk to put on your coffee, which is nice.
I grew up with in Germany, of course, with my grandmother grinding her own coffee beans. I think that's the only way you could buy coffee in Germany back in the day. And she had a hand grinder, and she would grind it up, and occasionally she'd double grind it, to make it finer or whatever. And then you boiled water, and then you poured it through a filter holder thing that fit on top of the pot, and it would dribble down. Now that was good coffee, and I mean, I was a young kid when I grew up with that. Like anything,
That's interesting.
Nowadays, I've just got a nice $15 Mr. Coffee coffee maker. I dump one scoop of coffee in there, a Maxwell House or whatever kind of shit I got, and I'm a happy camper. But
I have a Keurig. I'm an asshole who has a Keurig, so but I like that thing, man. I love it. It's awesome. You put a little pod in there, you hit the button, you're done, and it's there. I do like the
Yeah,
conveniency.
yeah. I mean, normally I'm not into these things. I think you've got to balance between value and cost and quality. But yeah, I think when it comes to coffee, like I said, the Brits are years behind. We're still drinking instant. We still we think Starbucks is good coffee, but yeah,
Anko
I like
says some Tim Hortons. There you go.
I like Love with Logic as a comment. He says his brother drinks garbage coffee with tap water. Yeah, there's no going back. I mean, the water you use as well is important, and he uses organic coffee, and amazingly, organic coffee is really good as well. But it's one of those things that until you've tried it, you don't realize what a step up it is. I think I got Messenger into for, drinking fresh coffee as well. I gave him a bag
I need to
when he
start
was down
grounding
there.
my own beans. Is this what everybody's saying here? I think that's what I'm getting at, and then I'll have to figure out. I'll have to throw the Keurig away.
Did you ever hear about that coffee that an animal eats and they take the
Oh,
shit?
the cat.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
the
Yeah.
capybara. Yeah.
Oh man, that I definitely won't be doing that.
Apparently, it's really good. People say it's great.
the cat shit coffee is something like $100 for a kilo or something.
Yeah, it's
You-
not cheap. I don't know what animal eats it. It's not a cat. It's
It's a
some
type of cat, I think. Let me
yeah, but it's basically you're drinking shit.
yeah. But
Oh god.
so this cat eats the coffee beans and then they collect it out of its shit. It's
Right.
called a civet. It's called a civet cat.
Okay.
Yeah, civet. Civet.
It looks kind of like a mix between. God, how do I even explain it?
It looks like a monkey. I think. It looks like a dog monkey.
It
A
looks
monkey
like
with
a
dog eyes.
rodent mixed in. It's very. It looks like a dog cat. It's very strange.
Yeah.
But it eats
I
the
think it was
coffee
discovered.
beans,
I
and
think it was
then it
discovered
poops
in
it out,
Tunisia.
and then they process that, and apparently people say it's really good coffee.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's
Which people?
luxury coffee.
Yeah, which people though? Not me and you.
Well,
I
I'm going to buy some. I don't know about you guys. I
you
guess
gonna try it?
I'm gonna go
Nah,
run out and get some.
I heard it's disgusting.
Anyways,
Yeah,
yeah,
well,
I just get a Keurig, man. I just put that in there, and I put the pod in there, and that's all I do. But I've tried cold brew coffee too. That was another thing, and it was too acidic for me. Way too strong, very concentrated, and I
yeah.
didn't like that.
Over in the US, you guys are into iced coffee, which we certainly don't have here.
Yeah.
No, I mean that's another yuppie bullshit thing. That look, when I used to go to work every day, I'd take a giant cup of, with one of those insulated cups that holds like 3 cups of regular coffee, and I'd drink it all morning long. And of course, as morning went on, the coffee got cold, right? So you're drinking cold coffee. It tasted fine, no big deal. Not as enjoyable as hot coffee, but it was cold. And then I heard about iced coffee, and I'm like, you people are idiots.
Yeah,
Making hot coffee and then putting ice in it to cool it down and watering it down. This is stupid. To me, it never made sense because I was drinking that. Well, it wasn't ice coffee; it was just cold coffee.
yeah.
So to me, and I think it's more or less the stupid shit that they add to it at like Starbucks. They put the little heart on top with a cream, and that's supposed to make it all.
You don't like it?
I have a
Let me
better one
go.
for you. Did you know that at Starbucks they actually have coffee for your dogs too? It's great.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my vape
Can I
app.
have my dog? Can my dog have some
Um,
too? They're like, yeah, here you go, and they give you a little cup, and it's got a little paw on it, and they actually write your dog's name on it. This is how fucked up of a society we've become.
That's
Well,
got to be for those broads with their purse rat.
Yeah,
you know,
that or that they bring in a huge ass dog because they're fucking crazy or whatever.
well, one guy says he has he's quit caffeine. He's quit most stimulants. It's like I said, you can get you can get caffeine-free coffee, which I think removes one of the points of having coffee. But me, like I said, I like a mild stimulant throughout the day rather than a strong hit. But if I don't have I just don't function. I used to hear people say this, years ago when I was in school. I used to hear teachers say, if I don't have my coffee, I'm just not the same. And honestly, I mean, at my age, me and Warhorse are getting on a bit now. I think Elements the young lads in this room. But at my age, if I don't have the coffee stimulant, I'm like on 50% CPU power, real
How
See,
slow.
I'm not
how
like
old are
that. I
you
haven't
now,
been that
Johnny?
dependent.
I'm 45.
45. Oh, geez. Holy crap. I'll be 65 in March.
God
Uh,
bless you, brother. And I hear you're having health issues. Is that the
yeah,
situation?
I got some intestinal bleeding going on. Um,
Right.
I got to go up for an upper GI next week. So they'll stick a camera down my throat and into my esophagus and stomach and everything, find out what's going on. So they figure it's maybe a hiatal hernia or a bleeding ulcer, which I know I've got the bleeding. That's the thing, and yeah, it's kind of bumming me out to say the least. And
Is it affecting your day-to-day routine?
um, there's a little bit of pain involved with it. I always feel like I need to eat something, or it almost feels like you've got heartburn when you're
Mm.
not full, and you're supposed to cut out all the spicy foods. And I love my chicken wings with the hot sauce and stuff like that.
Mm.
And you know,
I've had really bad I've suffered from really bad heartburn most of my life. Um, and I was taking a Nexium for a while, and that helped out for a little bit, and that cut it right out. But I tell you what finally cut out all the heartburn for me is it finally went away was drinking soda. I used to drink a lot of soda. I don't drink it. I haven't touched it at all ever since. I drink carbonated water now, which is the same kind of effect when you drink it. You get the bubbly kind of burn feeling that people, I think, drink it for. Same thing with carbonated water. All it is carbonated water. But once I cut out that the soda, it completely cut the heartburn away. Completely. I've never had it ever since. Every now and then I get a little bit of it, but it's completely gone. That stuff, whatever they put in there, and I think it probably was the citric acid, was like drinking battery acid to me. I mean, I couldn't even go to bed. It was so bad. It make you cough and like gag and just terrible.
Oh,
Uh,
I'll tell you one thing. You remember that woman gamer me and you ran into? I can't. It was in that Star Wars game, and she recommended I drink vinegar. You remember-
oh, what the fuck?
oh
Can you
yeah, I know
remember
who
that?
you're talking about. I know that.
Yeah,
Yeah, the girl
she
that
says go
lives
and
in the
drink
forest or something, or in the
go and
desert.
drink cider vinegar. And I said, oh, she's mad. But I saw it at the store. It was like a couple of dollars. So I bought a bottle, and then I just sipped it down, and I felt really good. It really worked.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
After that,
Apple cider vinegar, not
yeah.
straight
Yeah,
white
apple
vinegar.
cider vinegar,
Okay,
and it
okay.
really, I mean, like I said, I'm always open to new advice, new ideas. But yeah, I think when you get to a certain age, you just have to be super careful what you put in your body. Your body can't just digest anything anymore.
Well,
And
look, man,
yeah,
I've been abusing my body for like 50 years. And when I mean abusing it, I mean like beating the shit out of it, with you name it, drugs, partying, you know, drinking. Uh, I mean, you put all that together, and I'm not complaining. Believe me, I've had a lot of fun in my life, and now I'm paying the price. And you know, generally speaking, this isn't that big of a price, but the doctors, they keep telling me, you got to cut this out, you got to cut that out, and I tell them, well, why don't I just cut out breathing? I mean, you're asking me every fucking thing that I enjoy, you're telling me to stop. So no, how about I just cool it a little bit? I've backed off on the drinking, backed off on taking the pills that they've given me. And doctor pills. I don't do recreational drugs anymore. I just burned out on that. Now I mean, I kind of quit that shit. In my late 20s, like 28, 29, I stopped it. But before that, I mean, I've done an 18-wheeler full of cocaine and acid and you name it. And it wasn't the healthiest of lifestyles, and the people that I hung around, uh, you know, I mean, get into a fucking bar fight every 2, 3 times a week. The job I had was hard on my body. I'm breathing in asbestos and, Freon. We didn't know back in the day that if you put flame to the R12 Freon, that it turned into phosgene gas, which is a nerve gas that they used during the war. So look, all that shit catches up with you. And there comes a time when you say, okay, well, I'm at the end of the line here, and let's just enjoy day by day. And when it's over, it's over. Fuck it. Who really, at that point, your problems are over, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm not really that concerned about it, and more so that going to doctors and shit. I went through that with my wife, of constantly going to a different doctor to get a different diagnosis or a different specialist. You're sitting in waiting rooms for hours. Then you get these fucking asshole cunts that are at the desk, and the nurses, and they're all a bunch of fucking assholes. And you're like, yeah, okay, we've had it with this. And then in the end, they tell my wife, well, you've got 3 months left to live. Oh, fuck you, man. This is what I went to all you cocksuckers for and spent all this time and money to tell me this. Yeah, no shit, we're going to die one day. And now you've just put the pressure on me. And I've even told my doctor, I said, look, if you ever find anything that I'm going to die from, don't tell me. I don't want to know. Fuck it. If the time will come, the time comes. Why put the anxiety on me?
That's a good way to look at it. I mean, I've always thought you should embrace that idea that you're going to die one day rather than be afraid of it.
Well, to me, I've had this conversation with my uncle, and he's a highly intellectual, fucking mechanical or mathematical engineer and everything, and he's CEO of a big German company, blah, blah, blah. And he said he'd like to live forever. And I told him, fuck no, I don't want to live forever. Because at a certain point, things become mundane, boring, and tiresome. And you just, it just isn't there anymore. You can't recapture the novelty of youth and experiencing new things. And, to me, death is not something that scares me. What bothers me, I think, in a lot of people more so than anything, is how you die. Do you want to suffer for a long time? Do you want to sit in a rest home or a retirement place, drooling on yourself, shitting your diaper for a year or two before
Well,
you
that's a
die?
great point. So would you be a supporter of euthanasia?
Yeah, I am definitely. I mean, back in the day when Kevorkian was a big thing, everybody was talking about it, and I'm thinking, no, the guy's doing what these people want to do. They're tired of suffering. They're tired of going on. They want it to end. Let them do it in dignity. Let it be over with. And I would want the same for me as well. Now that doesn't mean that I'm going to go out and get a jab here to go through some induced, blood clot or heart attack. No, I don't want to do that. It's just like I don't get on my, and look, they're trying to scare us so much. And one of my funny things that went through my head is, I've been riding a motorcycle for like 50 some odd years and 48 of it on the street. You're going to scare me with a flu? Fuck you. You want to talk about scary shit, get on a motorcycle on the streets.
Yeah, that's a good point there.
That it's just something like, okay, you've worn out the tires and it's time to, just move on. to me, that's not a big deal. It's just, no, I'm not going to continue to make something better. You're not going to cure old age. You're not going to cure the body falling apart eventually. You're not going to make me better at my age. All you're going to do is extend it and then try to get every last penny out of me to support the medical system, and then when I run out of money, well, then you'll shove me in a fucking corner and just let me suffer and wait to die. No. We're not going that route. I'm not.
Yeah.
Other people might say, no, I'm going to live as long as I can. There's always hope. Hope for what? No.
Well said. Well said. Well, do you subscribe to the idea that there's an existence after death?
Actually, I don't, and I hope there isn't. I hope that, I mean, I've been put under for, surgical procedure or whatever else. Don't remember anything. It was like nothing. You wake up from it and you can't remember shit. I think once the brain shuts down, that's the end of the self, the ego, the awareness that you have. I'm not a philosopher as to what may or may not be. To me, it just seems like, no, that's the end of it. You've had your chance to do what you wanted to do, how you want to do it, and once it's over, your problems are over, and there's nothing after that. And I honestly hope there isn't anything after that. That's my personal take on it. And you look at the different religions and everything, and they all have this afterlife thing going on. But then again, so did the old what do you call it, the heathen religions, if you want to call it that, the Greek gods and the Roman and all the
pagan
others.
religions.
The pagan religions, thank you. The Egyptians, they all believed in that afterlife. And is there something to it? Who knows? Realistically, you can't prove it or disprove it. You can't, because you would have to be dead and somehow be able to come back and prove it. But if you came back, then you aren't dead.
Yeah, that's right. You didn't actually go to the other side.
Yeah, I mean, once you're over that threshold and it's over with, all you can do is speculate, and it all depends on what somebody believes in, and look, if that makes it through the day for whoever, if that makes you feel better about the whole process, then so be it. I don't see any problem with that,
Well, let's switch the subjects. Do you guys do anything special or different during this season?
I don't know. I mean, honestly, I go and I visit the family, and then I come back home. I mean, this week I took the whole week off, so I've been enjoying it. And so I really haven't been doing anything this week. I've been taking time and taking a break and reanalyzing, my situation and where I need to go from here. Every year, I like to try to reanalyze the situation, see where we're at, because things are changing so quickly now that sometimes what you thought might have been the right thing to do or the plan might have not worked out, and you have to readjust your plans. And so that's kind of what I've been doing. But as far as Christmas is concerned, no, it's just simply a get together for some people, and then everyone goes home and then goes back to work, and that's it. But I don't do anything personally different other than try to not do anything at all. So,
I get asked every time for the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, whatever, it's like, how was it? What did you do? And I keep giving the same reply. It was uneventful, the way I like it.
And that scares people because they don't like to hear that, because they couldn't even imagine what that would have been like.
Well, the problem is people normally get down at this period. I mean, Valentine's Day, Christmas, birthdays.
Oh yeah, I
It's
don't give a shit. I don't fucking care about any of it.
it's a cause for a lot of people, particularly guys, to get down upon themselves, and it's something we used to talk about. You remember years and years ago, but obviously it's what's called a complex problem. It just exacerbates itself due to the fact that we live in a society that doesn't address these problems. And I would say today, as I've always said, that guys that get down in these periods, you need to do something different. Don't keep repeating the same processes that get you in this downer. Pick yourself up, do whatever it takes. Do something different. If that doesn't work, try something else as well. I mean, I see this comment. This comment's popping up everywhere, and it's basically people, mainly guys, they're saying, I don't like mixing with people. People are assholes. People are cruel and they don't care about each other. Well, the sad fact is, you are one of them. You are one of those people that you dislike, but because nobody else has told you, and you haven't looked at yourself in that way. The fact is, what you are part of the people that you're complaining about. You're part of society. If you live in the US, you are an American. When you complain about Americans, you're complaining about the people that you're actually part of. Same with the Brits as well. But I see this comment everywhere. People complaining about other people, but you're one of them. You need to do something different. You need to either do different activities or mix with different people. But the fact is, these problems no one is going to fix for you except for yourself.
Yeah. That's look, I went through the family thing years ago, more so with my wife's family back then, and I hated every moment of it. And I know that I was part of the problem too, because half the time you got into an argument about something, politics, somebody didn't see it eye to eye. And then, after a while, it occurred to me that these are people you don't talk to all year long, but you get together for a holiday or two, and you're supposed to make merry and jolly and all that horse shit that they feed you on TV. And it's like you have nothing in common with these people. You wouldn't pick these people to be a friend if they weren't part of a family. So, to me, it was always a big uphill battle of having to go, having to be pleasant, having to watch my language, having to be something that I'm not, and something that I realistically detest. I hate being phony. And that upsets other people. Oh my God, he said fuck 2 times in a row. Well, yeah, I did. So fuck off if you don't like it. And it's like that doesn't make for a good gathering on the holidays. And the more people push me, the more I push back. I mean, don't give me some underhanded, passive aggressive remark and expect me to just take it.
I think
Because
I think part of the problem with holidays such as this, with birthdays and Christmases and Valentine's Day stuff, is people are forced to celebrate it. And I think when anything is forced, as you say, it becomes plastic. It becomes disingenuous. And a man that respects himself will never like being put in a disingenuous position. So I can completely relate to that. But when it comes to families, I think, as we've said consistently in our past discussions and podcasts, I mean, they've destroyed family. Family just doesn't mean anything anymore. They've redefined masculinity, so they've redefined the fatherly role, the brotherly role, every role that man traditionally used to play is now completely destroyed or diminished due to the fact that they've tried to redefine men in this society to suit basically a very destructive system. So, yeah, I mean, when you put those two things together, you put together a forced celebration, and then you put together, the expectations of a traditional male within the environment of quite a hateful male, what we should call the misandric environment. And I think obviously, I mean, I try to reconnect with my blood family as well, and yeah, it's just such a. I think it's detrimental now. I think it's quite damaging to try and connect with your.
Well, Shani, I want
With,
to ask you this. What I asked Warhorse this question earlier, but I think it ties along the same lines. What do you do to keep your mind occupied when you are, uh, having a lot of duration of time off? How do you keep your sanity day to day?
that's an excellent question. I think that's a question that I think is one of our favorite topics, isn't it? I think it's something we talk about in our monologues. But keeping your sanity has to be one of the most important uh, things I think a guy in the West occupies himself with. And for me, as a guy that's slowly losing his memory, as you guys might recollect, it's trying to have some type of identity that I can respect. That I can be somebody that I would like to spend time with, if that makes any sense. So, if I was to have, if I could build my own traits, if I could construct my own personality, that's how I try and stay sane. And as you guys might relate to, 90% of the time, it's not being like everyone else. It's not being like your average Joe that walks down the street, or the guy at work that's really annoying, or the narcissistic female that thinks every guy's coming onto her. I mean, that's probably in a nutshell how I do. What about you guys?
Well, I was talking with Element earlier about that, me playing with computers and building them, and, the operating systems with Linux and all that kind of thing. But, what you said there, it kind of reminds me, going back to my former lifestyle, the bikers, the outlaw bikers type, were called one percenters, which are 1% that didn't conform to the rules of society. And I think that extends beyond the biker paradigm nowadays, that more and more men are becoming the 1% that don't conform to the rules of society. And that's a good thing, because that actually makes you stronger by not complying, not conforming, not, now the powers that be hate that kind of shit. They'd rather see you married and all that other crap. And we all know where that game ends. But, to keep busy means to do your own thing, to have a hobby, if you will, to get involved in something that may not be mainstream, or even if it is. I mean, look, playing with computers is definitely mainstream, right? I mean, everybody pretty much does it to a degree or another. Or even if you're gaming, that's pretty mainstream as well. But you do it in your own way. You have your likes and dislikes about it and whatever. So, if everybody likes Windows and you got to be on Windows, well, nah, I like Linux. Fuck you,
Yeah, good on you. I heard you was getting into Linux, so you're learning the entire system, compatibility issues. You're learning to fix software and put your hardware together. But yeah, good on you. It's something that I've been putting off for years. I said, well, next time I'll I put Linux on my system, and
Warhorse,
then
let me ask you this. When you are, what would you recommend someone who is interested in maybe dabbling in computers? Where do you think they should start?
What do you mean, like an operating system?
Yeah, like let's say, for example, they want to get into like programming, or they want to maybe understand and learn about how, the code works on their computer and like dabbling in it. Where do you think they should start?
Well, yeah, that's kind of hard because it encompasses so many different things.
Yeah.
I mean, look, with a Linux system, it's much more versatile because it's open source for one thing, and you can start to learn how to use a terminal, or that would be in Windows command prompt, and learn how to use that language in there. It's not coding, but it's basically commanding the computer to do certain things. So that would be a good place to start. Of course, look, going from one operating system to another, from Windows to Linux, is a learning curve in itself. And if anybody's looking into going into Linux, which is far superior than Windows or
oh,
Apple, the um, well, you have control in a Linux system. With
yeah,
Windows, you don't have control. Okay,
well said.
the whole thing too is that all the viruses and malware and everything else, they're all written for mainly
Windows.
Windows. Yeah, because it's the most predominant. So, something like, let's say, Linux Mint Cinnamon desktop would be a great starting place for people that are used to Windows. Um, Again, there's a learning curve, but then, once you start to learn the terminal, to give it certain, just basic commands like sudo apt dash get auto remove to clean it up. You type that in, type your password in, then command it to go ahead and do it and everything else. You're doing that in a terminal. So you're basically in control of your computer when you want to be, even with updates or anything like that. Windows will just shut down whatever you're doing and start updating in the middle of
So basically, it's like
whatever.
the
Fuck that
difference
shit.
between having a manual and an automatic as far as a computer.
Yeah, pretty much. Except, you know, you're, well, the automatic car is going to tell you got to blow into this tube here so we see that you're not drinking. And then, you got bad breath, so we're not going to start.
Yeah.
And come back later and we might start and you can use your car. That's Windows. Fuck you. you know
No, I
um
think I think more and more
Indeed.
people are drifting away from Windows, especially now. Windows 10 is online only, so you can only use Windows 10. I think from next year, if you're connected to the internet, and yeah, like you said, Windows will just shut down and update without your permission. Same with the Xbox as well. Anyone that has an Xbox, that's basically a Windows 10 PC. But yeah, Windows is becoming a nightmare to use, and then obviously it'll be subscription only, just like the Xbox. I think more and more people will start drifting towards the freeware like Linux. But yeah, I wish I'd gotten into it earlier. But for me, when you have to learn Windows as part of your profession, yeah, you have to constantly have a working base on that. Guys like me don't have much of a choice.
well,
Yeah.
yeah, look, I had a friend here that I've known for a couple, actually, a married couple that have been friends of ours for 30 years. And she finally called me. She's a nurse at a hospital, and she was complaining about the Windows, 10 or whatever. And I said, look, if you want, I'll set you up with a Linux system that you might like, and we'll get you a used cheap PC, you know, and you don't need a whole lot of memory or a big, hard drive or anything like that. Now, mine, of course, are like NASA type shit compared to anything else, but I do that for me. You really don't need that. You need maybe 4 gigs of RAM, 250 gigs of hard drive, and you're fine on a Linux system. So I set that up for her, and she really loved it, but she had to keep her Windows computer because all the shit at work was Windows. So any type of disk that she got from work, for studying or for catching up or for whatever they gave her, she had to run on a Windows machine because it was written only for Windows. So there's a problem there. If you're doing something for a living and you're running on that operating system that they have for that company, then you're stuck with that. And you're also more comfortable with it because you're using it daily, and then going home and using a whole different operating system may get a little funky. And to tell the truth, a lot of people get frustrated and they give up on it. They're like, fuck it, I'll just stick with what I know, And,
right.
I get it. It took me about a month of going back and forth from my Windows machine, Windows 7, and yeah, somebody said Windows 7 still work offline. And exactly, I do have one PC here that's not plugged into the internet that's still got Windows 7 on it because I use a couple of programs off of that. And also I have a secondary backed up hard drive on it that has a lot of shit, old videos and crap like that. So I keep that machine just kind of, I rarely use it anymore. But it did take me, about a month before I started seeing the advantage of the Linux that I was running. And after I got used to it, holy fuck, you couldn't beat me to go back. So, but different strokes, different folks.
Well, you see, I'm thinking about hopefully maybe as a hobby, I want to build my own computer. That's something I want to learn how to do. And I probably I want to get something maybe tailored to a gaming PC. And I want to learn how to do all that because I don't know a lot about computers. I've picked up on a few things here and there about how to do it, but I want to build my own, and I want to just as a hobby to tinker with it and learn how all of it works is something that maybe this
Oh,
coming
yeah.
up year I'd be able to do.
Your man staying free, I can almost sense his his outburst. I mean, that's about all we used to talk about with those guys. But yeah, learning the hardware is just as important as the software. But I've always, I've always said to you, you should build your own PC. You always pay a premium when you buy a pre-built PC, and if you're buying Apple, I mean, you're getting ripped off. You're paying probably double or triple the price with a similar performance if you built your own PC.
Well,
Yeah,
now they're coming out, or actually, it's been since 2000. Ooh, all right, don't quote me on the year, but I think 3 years back, they started building PCs that will only run on Windows. In other words, you can't install another operating system because the hardware only works with that. Now, that may be the same for Apple or Mac, whatever you want to call it. I don't know that, but you know, uh, they're building these PCs now that have got you locked in. You know, so by building your own, you have a much better chance of being able to wipe out the operating system or overwrite it, however you want to do it, with a different operating system. So, you know, there. I mean, basically, if you go into a store and buy it, you're kind of uh, I don't know, you're locked into their format, their hardware, their everything. So, and that always worries me because you know, I'm always feeling like Windows is watching everything I do. And if you ever read their terms of service or whatever you agree to when you get the license key, it says that they can change anything on your computer at any time that they want to, even
Yeah.
when it's shut off or whatever. That bothers the living shit out of me.
No, get this. Windows 10 and not Windows 11 will only operate on certain CPUs. So
Yeah,
they're now choosing which hardware you can use and not.
Well, that's
But
fucked up.
I mean, if you're in the corporate world, I mean, you just go along with it. I mean, all the offices will be updating to Windows 11. They'll all be paying their subscription, and they'll all be buying Windows-approved hardware. But I mean, an interesting thing that they're talking about in the comment section is crypto, blockchain trading has kept the price of hardware really high. So CPUs, RAM, all that stuff, which naturally are used to drop in price after a year of being available. They've now all kept their prices up. So I mean, my PC is over 10 years old, but I've looked on the market and it's still comparable. I mean, I've got a 6-core AMD Phenom, and it's still I think it's still like $110 or something, which isn't too much of a reduction from how much I paid for it. But yeah, hardware is really expensive due to the fact that loads of people have been buying these
Okay, I
parts.
want to ask everybody a question. I hate to interrupt because this is something that keeps coming up in my everywhere I go. I keep hearing about this, and I know it's been going on for some time. But what are people's thoughts about cryptocurrency? What in the hell is going on with all this?
What you Warhorse? Have you bought some Bitcoin?
No, I
You're not doing
don't
it.
trust something that's out in the cloud, something that I can't hold on to or get my hands on and actually utilize in real life. I just don't like it. I know it went up like crazy. I remember Vention way back when,
Oh, he
telling
got
everybody
rich.
to buy. Pardon me?
Yeah, he got rich with Bitcoin. Venture made. I calculate something like $100,000 or probably more. I don't think he
Oh
actually said the
yeah,
number.
no doubt. I heard he passed away, but
Yeah.
when he was talking about it, the price was what, $3 a coin or whatever, and now it's what, 50 grand or I don't know. Uh, I don't pay attention to it. I just don't like the idea of having uh, money wrapped up on the internet with an internet wallet, and it just doesn't seem real. Even, I mean, look, I've got stocks, Harley stock basically, and I have the physical stock here. Now I can cash that in, but I have it physically in my hands. Nobody can just make it disappear as you could on the internet. You can make shit disappear.
Yeah.
Let's say the federal government says, hey, we're tired of this crypto shit, and they boom, they knock it out of the cloud. If Amazon gets on board and everybody else, and they say, okay, that's it for that, and you've just lost every fucking thing you have.
No, they've been doing it. I mean, let me just add that one of the ways they do destroy, and those that deal in crypto will know this. The one thing they can do to destroy crypto is shut down platforms. So just like on imagine YouTube or Facebook, and you're trading on these platforms. If they shut down that platform, this this decimates the value of Bitcoin, of Ethereum. Now, as time goes past, people forget how Bitcoin originated. I was listening to a guy called Max Egan, and he said Bitcoin came from the term when in the old days you had like a fool's gold and they'd buy it onto the coin, and that was a Bitcoin. That's nonsense. Bitcoin stemmed from the BitTorrent community. The BitTorrent community obviously had their feet in gaming. Now, at that time in 2003, a game came out called World of Warcraft. Now, in this game, it was one of the first games you had to pay you had to pay every month to play, and people. In fact, I think I remember mentioning this game too. It was the first game when people would die playing it. So they'd rent a computer in an internet cafe, which obviously you can rent for days, and they'd play until they die. You know, they were malnutrition. They were, you know, they didn't sleep for weeks, and players began to die. Now, in this game, that you would buy and sell. It's just like any other exploration game. You had resource management, and what people started to do, they would pay real life money in exchange for their currency in World of Warcraft. They would buy World of Warcraft gold, and people was buying something like thousands of dollars. People were making businesses started sprouting up. So then the BitTorrent community, they had an idea. Says, why don't we start something more real world? So they started Bitcoin. That's where Bitcoin stemmed from. Now, when you understand that, that's that's why the Bitcoin community says the government can never destroy Bitcoin, and that's true. So long as there's computers, so long as there's people that hold computers, there'll always be Bitcoin. So even though they can destroy a platform, they can take down Coinbase, they can take down Binance, but you can never strip people's computers away. So long as people have a computer where they can store information, i.e., a Bitcoin wallet, there'll always be Bitcoin. So even if Bitcoin goes all the way down back to like $1 a Bitcoin, which is possible, by the way, they can never completely get rid of Bitcoin. Now, that being said, the fact that Bitcoin went from basically nothing now to being like $50,000, I think the current price is like $45,000 a Bitcoin. That is testament to the original Satoshi's original idea. But yeah, just to put that out there, they can decimate the price of Bitcoin, but they can never get rid of it.
That seems a lot like playing the market. You know, I mean, your stocks go up and down. Um, and yeah, if the company goes broke now, you know, I don't dabble in Bitcoin or any of the, uh, you know, online currency. So I'm not speaking from knowledge here, but it just seems to me like you're playing the market with it. You know, the price goes up when people buy more, or goes down when they don't, or they sell. And, you know, I mean, I tried playing the market for a while some years ago, and it drove me crazy. It really did. It just, wow, it was so touchy. And uh, you were talking about that game where you buy money in the game, the Worldcraft or Warcraft. Uh, I remember hearing kids getting their parents' credit card and maxing it out to buy, you know, things in the game, and that seemed to me too like, goddamn, you know, you've just lost all that money. You spent it on something that was in the ether. It's just, I don't know. To me, it doesn't make sense, but then it doesn't have to, because I'm not playing the game. You know, and if somebody's making good money in it, well, more, you know, uh, power
Have
to
you
them.
guys heard about the thing now, what they're doing with Facebook? I've looked into it a little bit, but it's called the metaverse. And what it is basically they're turning the social media, and I could be wrong. Like I said, I'm not very well educated on what they're trying to do exactly, but I think they're trying to basically turn the social media app Facebook into a digital world where you can interact with people. I think that's the premise. And there's people right now that have, and I've heard this through articles, that are actually buying what they call digital land. So get
Right.
this. They're buying digital land, and they're already spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars buying up all this digital land, which in other words, I guess would be data. If you want to look at it from that perspective, either data or server space. And they're doing that, and they're already securing that into this digital space. which is very interesting to me because that's kind of moving more towards what you would consider a matrix type of reality within a social media platform.
That's cartoon land. I mean, everybody's an avatar. They're not like real people. You're not in a real atmosphere. You know, everybody's cartoonish, if you will. And, you know, the other day I heard that somebody got a sexual harassment charge for harassing some chick on that metaverse thing, or, you know, whatever, because the guy kept touching some other avatar's tits. Now that's crazy. That's not real life in there, you know. And from what I saw when that who is it, Zuckerberg, right? That Android looking fucker. You know, when he was promoting that, it looked like like watching a fucking cartoon, where everybody can just be you know, as weird as they want or whatever, you know, make themselves into He-Man. You know, if there's some scrawny little kid, you know, their avatar or their personality is this, you know, huge built Viking looking guy and everything. Wow, how far divorced from reality can you get? And there's nothing wrong with getting away from a little bit of reality and having fantasy, but goddamn, to live in it and to constantly be in it and pay money for it, that's fucked up. You know, that's like me saying, oh, you know, well, let me get into the metaverse and do a motorcycle ride, and it'll feel the same like real life. No, it won't. It
What do you
won't.
think? What are your thoughts on that, Shiny? Okay, Shining's not here yet. Okay. Yeah, it's just something that I saw that they were doing, and I didn't. Not good stuff. I don't think it's a good deal. Well, it looks like we have Johnny Midnight here. Should we bring Johnny Midnight in to say hello?
The man, the dude. I
You
don't think
buy
he dares come.
gold. You buy shiny gold now. What's going on?
Holy shit! It's Johnny Midnight, everybody. Only on
Yeah.
Christmas Day. God damn it!
Yeah, this is like my only Christmas present this year is being with you knuckleheads. So
No, you sound older. You sound like 10 years older since we last talked to you.
It's not like I've been drinking battery acid.
That's because I've been drinking battery acid. Yeah, and I have a new microphone. So
Thank God.
I don't think anybody. Well, actually, saying that, all the
I'm
old.
almost 50. I'm almost 50.
Shit, you're older than me.
Yeah, I am. I am.
I don't know we had so many old people here today.
This is like the boomer Christmas.
Hey, fuck that shit, man. I can still come on my ass.
Yeah, I think a couple of guys in the chat will remember Johnny.
2 or 3.
So Johnny, how you been? What's been up?
Actually,
been
not
up
a
to?
whole lot. Not a whole lot. I can't do a whole lot of anything just because of you know, intermittent lockdowns here and there. I've just been working. I've been avoiding the Cucarachi shot. I am a pure blood, so that's good.
That sounds racist.
It is. It is. I'm totally fucking racist, guys. And yeah, other than that, I've just been still building the studio and things in the house. I have one module left, and my synthesizer studio will be complete. That's it. One left. But
before I forget, are you guys going to watch a new Matrix? I know Element asked that. But...
No, hell no.
I've actually got a copy.
I don't know, man. You know what? Here's what's interesting about the new Matrix. I've already kind of heard about what happens and all this other stuff, but you know what? I've been playing a game called Cyberpunk. Shining knows this.
Oh yeah, tell me about that.
Okay, so yeah, I've been playing a game called Cyberpunk on the Xbox, and the game is about a dystopian type of world. Now, leading up to this game, they had put so much into the marketing of this game. where people were wanting it to be they had a lot of big expectations for this
Oh,
game.
it was hyped, super hyped. For a year they
And
were hyping
they
that
heard,
game.
oh, Keanu Reeves is going to be in it, and he's going to be a character in it, and all this other stuff. And anyways, they basically kind of wanted to make it like an RPG game inside of a digital world, inside of like a GTA type of sandbox type of game. Anyways, what ended up happening was it didn't live up to the hype at all, but the game is really good. I like it a lot. And the Matrix movie and that game are just kind of really synonymous with me. They both have this kind of cyberpunk type of style to them. But regardless of that, I don't want to see it because it's just right now we already live in an era or the society where they're just completely turning everything upside down and they're making everything so far from what it was supposed to be. What makes you think they're not going to fuck up the new Matrix movie?
Well, yeah, they ruined Star Wars. They ruined Ghostbusters. They ruined so many of our old childhood memories that even though I've got a copy of the Matrix, I probably won't watch it. I'll just get a copy and I'll just hold on to it just so I can tell everybody I've actually got it. But yeah, I think I told you, Element, that I have no intention of watching it because I'm done with Hollywood just ruining things. The new writers are terrible. The new producers, the new directors.
Well, what do you think, Johnny? What do you think?
I pirated it because I'm not going to pay for any Hollywood movie anymore. I went on something called
Pirate Bay.
No, it's not Pirate Bay. It's what's it called? Watch movies online. 123 movies, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You know, it keeps having a server and then it gets nuked and then it comes back again.
Yeah.
Well, you can find that in high definition right now if you wanted to. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna watch a shit show commence. So I started playing it and it was in high definition and everything like that. Opening scene. There's this like quote unquote badass kick-ass chick with blue hair. I'm like, oh great, the purple armpit brigade's in the house. And I just turned it right off. I was like, fuck this. You know, I mean, from what I can tell, it's just gonna be like the Star Wars episode 7 where they basically redo it, the first one, and with new special effects. That's all I can tell. And of course, everything's going to be paused and woke. And what I've been hearing, and I haven't even really been watching any reviews of it, that the Wachowski brothers, I think it's only Lana working or whatever.
They're no longer the Wachowski brothers.
Yeah, they're the Wachowski whatevers.
Sisters.
They're the sisters, man.
Hey,
they're the Wachowski sisters, man.
Yeah, they're the Wachowski sisters. And supposedly it's there to tell everybody that the red pill is fake and that the Matrix is actually a good thing.
Nice.
And then I heard that they also try to like deconstruct the original Matrix by breaking the fourth wall with the characters and everything like that, and trying to say, well, here's what we really meant.
I think that's some damage control.
That is some damage control, definitely.
That sounds to me like what happened was ever since they made that movie, everybody and their mother that knew anything or wanted to know anything has used that movie and picked that movie apart and found out, at least to some extent, what it really means and what they're really trying to tell people. And then once they put the dresses on, the Wachowskis, and they're like, oh, crap, we got to do something about this. Let's make a movie where it looks good again. And then let's leave it at that because people are getting too winded.
Yeah, the problem is movies like The Matrix, they defined a lot of the terminology that was used decades after that. I mean, the term red pill, as you pointed out, was coined from the film Matrix, and now it just doesn't mean the same thing anymore. I mean, when well, in the UK, if you say a boomer, they won't know what you're talking about. But people that were brought up on
if you say a what, a boomer?
Yeah, they won't know what a boomer is
Oh,
in the UK.
okay.
But yeah, it's just ruined the language now. So what we're gonna have to start using different language because Star Wars, Ghostbusters, Matrix, all the old. I hope they don't do a Fight Club using blue-haired feminists.
I hope they don't. That's on the chopping block too. They're going to remake that. Warhorse, have you seen any good movies lately, or that you think are even worth watching? Or I know we talked about this a few minutes ago, but I
Well,
haven't.
I tell you, the only movie I thought a newer movie, and I think it came out 2 years ago or maybe a year and a half ago, was John Wick 2.
Yeah, I seen that.
That was fun. I liked that movie. I saw
That
all of
was
them.
that was still pretty good, not too woke, except for the little black chick or the half-breed whatever chick that had the two dogs that helped him out. And of course, she had to kick the shit out of a bunch of muscle-bound 250-pound guys, and that was relatively short. You could live through that, but the John Wick, the rest of the movie was really good. It was the only thing that I could stand that has been made in, well, probably the last five years or maybe more. Other than that, everything seems to be, the minute they start putting in interracial couples, they get into cross-dressing or lesbian or gay stuff or anything like that, I shut it down immediately.
Cross-dressing and intersexual, transsexual relations on the new Matrix movie.
Well,
yes,
right.
What do you think, Johnny?
Well, okay. What Shining Light was talking about, or rather, James P. Fitzer Jab was talking about, was not just
JMP Fitzer Jab.
not just Shining. It was not just the cultural significance that we're experiencing now, but in the chat, Stardust 76 was talking about how the Matrix was just blatantly in your face, divulging tenets of the Nagamati library, archons, agents, and Neoplatonic Gnosticism, and that people who have the eyes to see and actually read into that, no matter how long it takes you to get that kind of message, like Element and I have, we're analyzing this.
By
this
the way,
film.
for those who don't know what that is, it's going to take you a little bit of time.
It is. It is. But I mean, it basically.
You got to Google it and then, spend the next 3 years, you'll get there.
and you'll get there. Yeah, but I mean, basically, it's a deconstruction, a breakdown of what our reality really is. And people that are analyzing that and reflecting on it, and even going into further study on that, are taking a look at, asking questions and questioning not just their government and the society that they live in, but the actual reality in which they live. The powers that be are just not going to like that. So, like Element said earlier, the Wachowski sisters had to go in and put in some damage control with this Matrix reboot. What's it called? Matrix Rehashed? I forget what it's called.
Matrix Revisited Part 4.
Reheated on the saucepan in the microwave.
Matrix microwave. It's like a hot pocket.
It's like and it's not even the good kind of hot pocket. It's kind of like the mediocre one, the one that you get at the Dollar General.
Yeah,
like
did
you guys know that John Carpenter got in a lot of trouble for the film They Live?
I heard about that. Yeah,
no,
I heard that he had. So apparently, he got in trouble with the producers and stuff because of money-related issues. They said that they wanted him to basically, in a nutshell, do what they wanted him to do, and he said, "No, I'm not going to do it," and then he got in a lot of trouble.
No, by the government, the U.S. government.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, they brought him in for questioning. They and basically John Carpenter's lawyers said no, he's not talking about the American government. You know, the American government hasn't been hijacked by aliens. Hint, hint. He's talking about the communists, and they let him go. He's like, okay, fine. If he's talking about the communists. But yeah, he got into some serious trouble for releasing that. That he didn't write They Live. He actually took the idea for They Live from a short story called I think it's called 8 o'clock in the morning.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah, that's right. I never
and
even read that.
yeah, but yeah, films like They Live, things like films like Matrix made people think or reconsider their position or their relationship with the government. You know, how we as citizens, as people, as men, fit into our society. And the fact is, you know, we are farm animals. Uh, you know, people like Max Egan are right. We are the product, or they regard us as produce to be filmed, to be to be milked,
Well, I want
to
to
be
ask
farmed.
this. I want to ask Johnny, because Johnny, it's been a hot minute since
Mhm.
we've had you around a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
So how's things where you are? How is
Um,
any of the state has gone crazy, or what's going on? I don't know if you want to tell people where you were at, but
yeah,
yeah, just
yeah. No, everybody knows that's followed us. I'm up in Wisconsin. Lockdowns are actually a lot more tolerable here. Um, I live off the beaten path, so I don't have to deal with
you live in the
any.
bush.
Yeah, I live in the bush, so I don't have to deal with any kind of uprisings that go on intermittently through out Madison. I missed all the shit that went down in Kenosha and Waukesha, but there have been you know random flare-ups of violence and
Now, what kind of violence
political
are we talking here? Are we
political
talking?
instability. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. We're right next door to where all the George Floyd stuff happened, and
Oh, yeah,
it
that's
just
right. I was
kind of
thinking that. Yeah,
seeped
Minnesota and
on over
Wisconsin
here.
are in that area.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, damn.
So that's why I don't leave a whole lot, my house a whole lot.
Yeah, you got a satellite antenna on the roof just to get a third party signal.
I do.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
So
things.
have you been protesting, Johnny Midnight? You've been going out with the placards and the leaflets. And you don't call them leaflets in US, you call them flyers.
Yeah, we
No,
call them
posters.
flyers.
You call them
Yeah, I
flyers.
would, but I'm all out of wheat paste, so I have nothing to, I have nothing to like slap them up with.
The posters.
Some of
Yeah,
the
man.
Mennonite wheat paste.
Yeah. No,
The
some
smart,
guy.
the
Sorry.
smart man would stay the fuck out of that shit. Anytime there's something going down, protesting or riots or anything like that, you stay the fuck away from it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, no matter
Yeah,
what
you don't want to get
your
involved.
intentions are. You know, look at Rittenhouse. I mean, I know what he was thinking or trying to do or whatever, but it was a stupid move on his part.
Yeah, he
Very
Stay
fucked
the
up there,
fuck
didn't
out of that.
Yeah,
he? Fucked
that
up
was
there.
really dangerous. and
You
don't
don't
go
put
seeking
yourself
trouble.
into that situation. You know, you go. You know, covert operations work much better if you stay within your box at that point. In other words, don't get into the middle of this shit. Don't put a target on your back, but put a target on their back. As you know, I think it was Patton that said, you don't want to die for your country. You want to make the other bastard die for his. So that means you let them fuck up.
I like
And
that.
then if they come to you, that's when you take care of business. And then there's no question about your legal
Intention.
rights or anything else. See, what Rittenhouse did was kind of a dumb, young, thing that, very naive.
Yeah, well, he's
And
17 at the time he did it. He's
right,
like
I know.
you know,
Well, hopefully he learned a lesson, but he's kind of he's kind of fucking that up now, going
Mm.
around playing big mouth and everything else. Now's the time for him to shut the fuck up, lawyer up big time, sue the people that have defamed him, and get some money out of it, like that Sandman guy did.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
didn't
I
hear
mean, it just
much
comes to
about Sandman doing talks and interviews and all that kind of shit.
Right.
You didn't hear from him until he won and got some goddamn money out of these people, and he can go on with his life. He kept a very low profile. Rittenhouse isn't doing that. He's, look, he had the right to defend himself, and I don't feel sorry for the fuckers he shot. I have nothing left over for pedos or, anything like that. Now the one guy that he blew the arm off of, yeah, he was a wife beater. And look, maybe she deserved it. I don't know. Okay. But nevertheless, they were all in the wrong place at the wrong time. And, the only way to avoid that is to keep a low profile.
Right.
Keep it low, keep out of sight. In other words, act like you're a sniper, if you will, but do it in your home territory. Where they're out of their environment and you're not. He went into an environment that wasn't where he was comfortable in. So he did a good job with the aiming and shooting and not, going off the deep end. But the rest of it was all wrong. And it should have never gotten to that point with him.
Yeah, that just comes to show you, you don't put yourself in that situation. That's very stupid, and things go bad really quick when you're there anyway. So that leads me to one other thing. There is a website that you can go on, and it will tell you the crime statistics of the area that you're going into. If you've never been there before, you can pull this up, and you can look to see where you're going, if there's any crime that happens in that area. If you're unfamiliar with an area. And that's just a preventative way to not get yourself in a bad situation, and use your common sense too,
Hey, could
If
you
there's
post that link up? Or
Yeah,
no?
let
Okay.
me see here. I think it's called Crime Map USA. Let's see here. This might be it. Give me a minute and I'll pull it up, and I'll I'll send it in the chat there. But anyways, my point is, use your common sense and don't go into an area that you think that is someplace you don't need to be, especially if there's like anywhere between 1,000 people outside and they all are pissed off. You probably don't want to be there. What do you think, Johnny?
There's a lot of tension. There's a lot of frustration. I think people for years and years, in our case, decades, we've been trying to find solutions to extremely serious and large problems, and I think this generation and most probably the next generation are trying to deal with problems that have been going on for so long. And our leaders are failing us, so people are using protests and these type of gatherings to basically let out steam, but in their head they think it's a solution. They think, well, we'll get together, we'll cause a ruckus, we'll do some damage, we'll burn a few cars and some stores up, and it'll make us feel good. But obviously, as some social commentators will say, this is exactly what the authorities want, because then this gives them the how would you say, the excuse to come out with guns blazing, start arresting all the provocateurs, and next thing you know, everybody's quiet and everything's subdued, and there's no talk about the Matrix and the aliens taking over our governments anymore. So it's
Well, look at the stupidity of what was it, November 6th, or whenever that bullshit went up, at Congress there at the election,
yeah.
and all those people got thrown in jail because there were FBI provocateurs in the crowd and everything else. They haven't been charged with anything, or, the minute I heard that there was going to be a rally, Trump was going to have a rally, I knew there was going to be trouble. I knew that for a fact. And I knew some people that said, oh, we're going there. And I'm like, cool, have fun. You couldn't have drugged my ass there, because I knew it was a setup. And
a trap.
Yeah. And, look, in a perfect world, what happened there is exactly what should have happened to keep the government in check. The people have the right to do that. But we're not in that world. That's not how it works. Okay. So, after the whole election thing and everything else, you knew that you were on the losing end of the stick. And going up there wasn't going to change a goddamn thing. Nothing. All these people were trying to do, most of them, I think, were saying, look, hey, I think that, you guys are stealing something, or, you're fucking up and we don't appreciate it. Sure. But it doesn't end there. And they're not going to change their mind by, like I said before, with a peaceful protest. Like, they're not going to change their mind on these jabs or anything else because of a peaceful protest. So why bother go up there, get all riled up, and then end up in jail or prison, for what's going on a year now, or over a year. These people haven't even been charged. And, the stupidity of that. Don't put yourself into that situation again. That people just don't think it through. If you don't show up and make a big deal out of, hey, we're going to have a rally, we're going to do this and that, it gets them all nervous. They get all wired up. They got all their assets out there on the ground, and then nobody shows up. That's the way you do it. You play that psyop game against them, but people are too fucking dumb to realize it. You can't let them play the psyop game. You counter that. It's called counterintelligence for a reason. So, this keeps going on, and people aren't getting any smarter. If anything, they're getting dumber.
Yeah, it's like going into back in 1970 in Kent State, Ohio. All these hippies thought that they were going to stop the Vietnam War by going out and protesting the Ohio National Guard. And what happened? Well, the Vietnam War didn't stop. It didn't end. And a bunch of kids got shot.
Well, actually, once it got violent, the hippie protest, with the Black Panthers, with the whole 9 yards that was going on back then, and I was alive back then. I remember.
Right.
Once it got violent and everything, Nixon backed down. Okay, because he wasn't going to back down. And then he said, all right, we got to calm this down. Let's pacify everybody. Let's pull it out. Vietnam was another Afghanistan. It was another Iraq. It was just a money-making proposition. By the way, Vietnam got started by the CIA in Cambodia. So everybody's well aware of this piece of history that seems to have been forgotten, that we were fighting communism in Vietnam is bullshit.
That's right, yeah.
We were going for a takeover, and it started in Cambodia with the CIA and their two bullshit things that they had going to get them in there was U.S. Air and American Air, the airlines to train pilots in Cambodia. And that's what started that entire fucking mess. So the hippie protests were just part of that whole weirdo generation of make love, not war, and peace and flowers and all that crap. It was really kind of sickening. And feminism also got right in the middle of that during that time. And it took over a lot of the hippie movement, which got accepted by the majority because, well, the free love, the drugs, and all that crap, and sex was rampant and Woodstock, blah, blah, blah. You can't compare those days to now. It just isn't possible. Even though the furthering of the hippie movement is what fucked up generations afterwards.
Yeah.
Because they were the ones that, don't spank the children, raise them naturally, let them do what they want, and all that
It
kind of
infiltrated everything, every aspect of our lives.
Yeah, no doubt. And look, I'm part of that generation, although I wasn't part of that scene. I was a biker. I rode with a club, and basically we hated fucking hippies. We beat the shit out of the men, and we fucked their women. Okay, and we took their drugs. I mean, we still had enough testosterone where we took advantage of a situation. So, I never had much left over for the fucking hippie bunch or anything. Hated them. This is why sometimes I get a little pissed off when people are like, you fucking boomers. Yeah, I'm part of the boomer, but I'm not part of what you're thinking about.
Right.
Because we weren't all part of that.
You boosters.
We were the motherfuckers that your mother warned you about. And that was the end of it.
Yeah.
We didn't take any shit. We didn't follow any rules. And we got in a lot of trouble, no doubt. The cops hated us. Everybody hated us. But nowadays they have bigger things to worry about. And I'm no longer in that lifestyle. I haven't been for quite a while.
So, Johnny, is there any of this going on in there in Wisconsin?
Well, like, how do you mean?
I'm not familiar too much with Wisconsin. I mean, I just know it as being like a, kind of like a more of a farming type of state.
Right. It's.
But do you have like the crazy rednecks that go out there and start shit too, and combines and things?
No, not really. I mean, where I live, there are
a lot of restless people there in Wisconsin. I mean,
any protests? Any White Lives Matter going on there?
No, not at all. I mean, I'm not seeing anything like that. There are a bunch of, like, in the outlying farms and even right in the village where I live, there are a lot of Trump flags, Trump 2024 flags and things like that.
I can't believe it. Are people still think Trump is?
Yep.
I can't believe it.
Oh yeah, it's really heavy out where I live. But if you go to a majorly liberal city like Madison, it's everybody's wearing the fucking masks. They're driving alone in their car with a mask on.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. That drives me crazy. That makes me want to hurt them.
It does.
Drive my car into a ravine with them.
You want to frickin' T-bone their fucking car with that. But you get a lot of that stuff. Everywhere you walk into, there's some masked up, medical expert that asks you a litany of questions about your COVID status, and things like that. I tell them, fuck no, I'm not vaxxed. So.
Yeah, but what can you do? I mean, I found out recently that nearly all my friends and colleagues, I mean, all of them, every single one are vaxxed, walking around in masks, and you just can't say anything. What do you say? No, I'm not.
You don't say anything. You just let them live it because
you can't say. I mean, you're in the middle of you're in a queue, and everyone's got a mask except you. And you feel like screaming. There's videos of people actually doing that, but all you do is you make yourself look stupid. You make yourself act all hysterical, scream at them, saying, "Look, you're not animals, you're not robots, and your mask isn't doing anything." All you can do is just to keep quiet. I mean, it is a they live situation. It's like you put on those sunglasses and you can see it. Everybody's acting like an idiot. but then you don't pull out a shotgun and start blowing people away.
Well,
Like-
yeah, I mean, it was like
Here-
Warhorse was
look.
saying, you don't go and fucking look for trouble.
No, but here's the thing: you beat them at their own game. Okay, around here, the mask shit stopped a long time ago. There are still a few idiots running around with them, but very few. Now, if you go into a doctor's office or any medical setting, they want you to have a mask on. They have a sign at the door, and there's not much you can do. If you got to go see that doctor or whatever, you have to put one on. What I did here is I took a pair of my wife's old black pantyhose, because I still got a shitload of crap here, and I cut a mask out and made 2 holes to go around the ear, and you can breathe through it perfectly. It's very opaque. It doesn't cause you any type of distress at all, because it's nylon. It's pantyhose, or
Right.
in England you call them tights, right? So I wear that, and that pacifies them. And then you kind of laugh, Now when you go into the doctor's office, or you're sitting with the doctor, they tell you it's okay to take it off, and then you put it on and you tell them, hey, yeah, this is my wife's old pantyhose. They kind of give you that knowing grin that they know that isn't doing any more or any better than the fucking shit the other people are wearing, And there's no graphene oxide or hydroxide in those goddamn, that they have in the real thing. So,
did you guys see those? Did you guys see those videos when some guy put a microscope to the paper masks and he found all those black?
Yeah, that's
wiggly
graphene
worms.
oxide. That's graphene oxide.
Shit, it was real. It was
Same
actually
thing.
real.
Same thing with the swabs. Those things that they're poking up into your brain.
The tests, the
Uh,
PCR test.
They got the black strands in them that move around.
Shit.
That's-
Morgellons.
that's-
Yeah, I was going to say Morgellons.
Yeah,
I
that's
tell people, man, don't get tested. Don't do nothing with this. I haven't been tested. I've had to wear a mask a couple of times, but I haven't gotten a test. I have never been sick from this stuff at all. I haven't gotten sick at all. I've never had it since it all started. I've been and I've been around people that have had it and everything. But I tell people, don't get tested. Don't do none of that stuff.
Well, that brings up a good question, Element. Have any of you or anyone in the chat known anybody who has died, or know of anybody who has died of this fucking thing? Because I have.
no. But I have known 2 people that have had strokes after the jab, and I know 1 person that died from it within a week. So, but other than that, the original flu or any variant, no, I don't know anybody that's had it. Now, people have said, yeah, I had it, or somebody else had it. And you got to remember that Dr. Birx, in the beginning there, when Trump was still president and had Fauci and Birx on, Birx inadvertently said, when they asked her about it, that yes, there is a difference between somebody dying with the Wu flu or dying from it. So they were counting all of it. That means if you jump out of an airplane without a parachute, they do the PCR test, which isn't a test, and they find that you had it. Well, you died of it.
Right.
Yeah.
You died with it, not of it, but with it. So they counted all those.
They did that in Ottawa.
Yeah,
Some
yeah.
guy went fucking crazy, jumped out a window. He had COVID, and they call it a COVID death.
Remember, that was the last time she ever talked on the podium.
It's called COVID-related gunshot wounds.
Yeah. I mean, and all of a sudden we didn't have the yearly flu anymore.
Yeah,
We didn't have
anything
anybody
after
that had a cold. Nobody died of anything but this thing. So, tell me some more stories, please. And now, this Omicron thing, they're giving you the list of what it feels like: a runny nose, a cough, feeling a little fatigued. The common cold, asshole. You gave it a fucking scary name, you know? Gorilla variant. I mean, what the fuck, right? You know, are you joking me? That's a goddamn mild case of the common cold. You know, it's not a variant of anything. It happens every year during wintertime. People get the fucking cold.
Right.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I think us being boosters, we can see. I mean, we're smart enough to realize that the government's full of bullshit anyway. But Johnny,
yeah.
did you say you know someone that died of the P. Fitzer jab?
No, I don't know anybody who died of the jab. There's one lady who had retired from work, and I mean she was 85 at the time. She had taken the shot and had died from that like 2 weeks afterwards. But other than that, I don't know of anybody who has died of the booster shots, the vaccinations, or the disease itself. You know, I'm not saying that it's not real, but maybe it's just because I live in a low population area where you don't hear about it as much. But we're 2 years into it. You think I would find, I would have at least known somebody within my social circle who at least knows somebody who died of it, and I don't.
Well, I'd like to at this point out the positive of all this, and due to the fact that they'd hire extra cleaning staff to polish every single surface of every single area of every single place you went, from the trains, buses, to the shops, and all the offices that you went for like nearly 2 years. I didn't even get a cough or a sneeze, and then as soon as my friend turns up, so my friend comes visits me, tells me he's just been double jabbed. I had a terrible nausea and cough for the past week and a half. So they were telling me not to come into work, but I still had to work online. But yeah, he turns up and he's double jabbed and he's coughing his guts out, and he's not even. I see people do this. They wear the mask and then they'll pull it down to cough and sneeze, and then they'll put it back up again. So yeah, what's the point of you wearing the mask? You're just gonna do that
Yeah,
shit.
it's like you go into a restaurant and then they have like, okay, we need you to wear the mask while you walk in. And then, okay, well, I'm just going to take it right off again. So what's the point?
Yeah.
And what am I just going to kind of like push the food through the mask and just kind of eat it like that?
Well,
It's silly,
did you
isn't
see
it?
the people that had the hole cut for their mouth? They were in the restaurant wearing the mask,
Yeah, I did.
and they had a little hole. It was a couple. It was a woman and a man, and they had a hole cut. So they were eating with the mask on their face, but the hole cut. I'm thinking, how
Nice.
fucking ignorant do you have to be?
It's just a behavioral experiment. They want to see how many people are going to go ahead and wear a mask if they're told to. And then with all this like UFO talk now, oh yeah, they're real. We just haven't made contact yet. They'll pull down a Project Bluebeam to televise the first alien landing, and we're all going to have to wear like tinfoil hats so they can't read our thoughts. And a lot of people are going to go out and buy tinfoil hats so the aliens can't read our thoughts. It's just one thing after the next.
I think they dropped the alien thing already and are going straight into the climate change thing, which they had on Veritas. The one guy from CNN, the producer, he said, yeah, the next fear tactic will be the climate change. So here we go again with this. Back in the 70s, we had the climate ice age that was coming in. And then we had the global warming coming in. And now, instead of being nailed down to the warming or freezing, they just call it climate change, which you can't argue with because, we went from summer to fall to winter. So the climate changed. You can't argue with that. We're colder now than we were in the summer. So they're going to keep pushing that to give you the new fear mongering that they're going to hit on all the time. Plus, you got to remember, Greta said, or no, not only Greta, but AOC said that
Two
within
scholars.
10 years, human life will end due to climate change. And that was 3 years ago. So, boys, we got 7 years left.
How
Wow.
Kiss your ass goodbye. And yeah, I always take my information from a teenage girl because
Yeah.
I know they're rock solid with their thinking.
Yeah.
And, come on, it's bullshit. The whole fucking game that they're playing is nothing but to keep you in line, to keep you fearful, to keep you obedient, to comply, to go along with all their bullshit.
Well,
And
Warhorse, yeah, I mean, climate change is real, but we're not doing it. It just happens all the time. I mean, but back in when Henry VIII was king, and Shining, when was that? 1400s?
Let me just double check.
Don't you know your presidents anyway?
Don't you know that answer off the top of your head right now? Damn it!
Yeah, but Greenland was green. I mean, the Danish were planting farms on Greenland. Now it's just like an ice shelf. But 500-600 years ago, you could build a homestead on it. Climate change happens. It's not our fault.
It's been happening for millions of years on this planet.
You bet.
Everything changes. That's why the plant growth, the dinosaurs being as big as they were, because CO2 levels were that high, which is fertilizer for anything that grows and living. And it was hot as hell. And then we had an ice age. And then, it got warmer again. And then we had another ice age and blah, blah, blah. It's been going on for millions of years. And man wasn't around back then. We weren't driving our polluting cars and all that bullshit that they come into.
Dinosaur farts.
Dinosaur farts, right. Let's eat all the bugs now because, well, the filet mignon are only for Bill Gates and Dr. Fauci and Schwab and all those guys. They got to eat the filet mignon, so you eat grasshoppers, motherfucker, because you're ruining the atmosphere. And, if you think about it, these motherfuckers with their goddamn mansions that are 60,000 square feet of swimming pool heated and air conditioned and climate
Helicopters.
Control. They're not, no
The
carbon
yachts.
footprint there at all, right?
Yeah.
Fuck you. Fuck off.
Plus, they also fly a jet a couple of times every week too.
A private jet, yeah.
That shit's
Oh man, you
expensive.
guys got me going now. Shit.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Kwanzaa.
What hobbies anybody working on any hobbies or anything? Like, what's on everybody's agenda for this next coming up year, if you even give a shit about that?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I'm gonna maybe work on trying to stock up on a bunch. I'm gonna have to start putting some money aside and figure out some things. I got some very serious work I have to do, and there's some things I have to do that are gonna take me a long time to do, and I have to get started on them right now. But anyways, what other things? What about you, Warhorse, Shining, Johnny?
I don't know. I really haven't thought about it. I pretty much, let the wind blow me wherever it may, whatever I feel like at the time. So I have nothing planned, and maybe a lot of times to me, that's a good thing. I go by the seat of my pants, and like whatever I feel like. But as far as planning ahead, like I said, in my age, I don't plan too far ahead. I'm just like, what do I feel like today? Can I get it on eBay? If I can get it on eBay, cool, man. Let's get that, and we'll get into that for a while. and then maybe we'll go on to something else. Who knows? I mean, with me, it's always just day by
What
day.
about you, Johnny? What do you got going on? I know
I'm-
you're. Are you still listening to? I'll tell you what. I forgot to. I've been listening occasionally at work. I listen to what is it? Pharmacon still.
Yeah, Pharmacon. I think she's got a new album out actually. Yeah, I've actually been working on that kind of stuff in this studio thing that I'm building, which is almost come to completion. I need to get the ability to get the sounds out of the Euro rack and into the computer finally, so that I can record things and then hopefully just launch them off onto um, you know different musical hosting sites and things like that. I still don't have like a solidified uh, sound that I've developed, just because I'm still learning the gear and the technology, but it's a lot of fun. And that's what I basically have been doing, is holding up into that. And uh, I'll see where it takes me. I'm not planning on anything groundbreaking though, but it's fun to do. So there you
What
have it.
about you, Shiny?
I think
Working on a
everybody's
coffee
plan is
maker?
everybody's plan is to try and make a little bit of money and maybe settle down or give themselves a lot more leisure time. But yeah, right now, as you know, I'm about to finish my management degree. I'm hoping to take an additional management certification as well. Uh, I'm not I'm not planning to stay here. As you guys know, one of my long-term goals was to move to somewhere a lot more secluded, something like Alaska or somewhere cold where you can have a
Go up there to
solitude.
Wisconsin with Johnny.
Yeah, move here with me, man.
And if not, I think I might move to
Shining's
Edinburgh.
Shining's job can be being a truck driver hauling cattle across Wisconsin state.
I wouldn't mind that. I
And you
think
have
it's
to wash
important
out the
for.
trailer
Plenty of
in.
jobs open for that.
I think it's important to have something to look forward to. I think that's something that guys don't prioritize enough. Plan something, even if it's something small. Have a reason to get up in the morning. Don't suffer your depression. Try and uh, do something. And like I said, if that's a mistake, do something else. But yeah, look forward to it. What about you, Element?
Well, I'm going to be taking a little break. This week was my break pretty much. And I'm going to get back to work tomorrow, and then I'll be working Tuesday. So I got to work Tuesday, Wednesday. I have off Thursday, then work Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's my schedule. So I'm going to be busy a little bit with work, but it's going to free up a lot of time for me to be able to do some other things that I need to get done that have been neglected this year that really need to get done badly. Personal contingency plans, setting some money aside, playing, still keep up with my hobbies and play some video games with Shining and have a good little time. And other than that, just pretty much, stocking up and preparing mainly. That's what I'm going to do.
Right,
A lot of
guys,
preparation.
sorry to interrupt. I have to go now, but it was nice speaking to you guys. Hopefully, we'll speak again soon. But yeah, well done, Element. You actually got the Christmas podcast up, which I was afraid what was not going to happen. But yeah, well done, and it was nice talking to you, Warhorse. Nice talking to you, Johnny Midnight. Peace, guys, in the chat.
Yes, sir,
See
Johnny.
you,
We'll see you.
Shining.
All right, Shining, be good, man.
Bye now.
So that's pretty much my goals for what I'm going to do. So nothing too spectacular, but very important.
You mentioned putting some money away, which brings me to a thought here. With the economy going the way it is in this country anyway, and I'm sure others too, rather than putting a lot of money away, cash money, that's going down in value very quickly, I'd say buy what you want to buy now before the money loses value and the prices of things go up.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing.
That I have too.
Yeah.
I've been kind of, I do have a buffer of money, cash, which is not, it doesn't have the buying power that it did. And I'm beginning to realize that very, very quickly. And what I've been doing is, I'm looking at things that I'm going to need or I want or what have you. And I'm dropping the hammer and just saying, no, fucking get it now. Because I'm seeing the prices go up from month to month, sometimes week to week. And they're not going up by a little, they're going up by a lot. So having assets is actually more valuable than having the cash on hand.
And also get it
That's
while
it.
you can, because with supply shortages and
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, it could be months before it actually gets back in stock, whatever it is that you want. And by then, if you don't buy it on back order or have it reserved, yeah, it could go up 200%.
See, I'm in a very similar situation right now because right now I'm looking at purchasing a pickup truck. My car has like 150, almost 160,000 miles on it. I've taken good care of it. Still runs fine. But as I see that we're probably going to start getting, in my opinion, I think we're going to start getting a lot worse weather and whatnot. I just kind of want to have a pickup truck because there's so many versatilities to a pickup truck. You can pull things with them. You can haul things with them. You can go off-road in them if they're four-wheel drive. They have a lot more power to them. Yes, they do suck up a lot of gas. They're definitely not as efficient as a car, but that's the price you pay to get all that other stuff. So right now I'm currently in the process of talking to a guy at one of the dealerships, and he's got a truck within the price range I'm looking at, and it's got everything I want, and I don't need a massive truck. It's like a mid-size short cab, or I'm sorry, short box, four-door cab, and it's perfect. And four-wheel drive and everything. But he said, you know what? They're having a hard time getting four-wheel drive vehicles in. And this is the only one that's on the way there. So when it gets here, he's going to call me and let me know. And I think I'm going to get it. And I've been thinking about it. What if I just save up and get it? But with all this stuff and the shortages, it's, I think, a good durable and rugged vehicle is going to be a good asset to have.
Right, because if you keep waiting, then the price is going to go up, and then you're going to have to save for that benchmark, and then again and again and again.
Yeah.
What make and model and year was it?
I'm looking at possibly getting a 2022 Chevy Colorado,
Okay.
and it's going to be the one that he has is what they call a midnight edition.
Mm-hmm. I like
So
that name.
everything on it's black. Tires are black truck, and it's 31-inch tires, and I like that.
Well, I'm glad that you're looking at Chevy, just because try to keep it American, because if you get like a big Nissan, or even like the German trucks, even though they might be well made, parts are going to be a pain in the ass to get, especially with the shipping crises now that we have time and again. And parts and labor, if you need to get that repaired, it's just not going to be very commonplace. Like Warhorse, you've worked with like German cars and bikes before, right?
Yeah, I was a Mercedes mechanic for
18
years.
Okay, there you go.
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't buy anything new to save my life. And the other thing is, if you got to make payments on it, that's going to hurt you in the long run.
Yeah.
Also, the higher price for insurance if you're making payments on it.
Yeah.
The other thing too is that, remember, you mentioned made in America. Well, there's nothing really made in America much anymore. Even Mercedes, back when I left them, was 1999. and half of the parts we were getting were made in Mexico.
Mercedes parts, really? Okay.
Yeah. So, and you got to remember, VW went into Mexico.
Yeah, I
was
know
putting
that.
So if you're thinking about German quality, the quality of the German cars, number one, was very ahead of its time, high tech, and very costly to maintain. They were not of that high a quality, comparatively speaking. They gave you better performance. They gave you better, it's like owning a Ferrari, or a Countach or whatever. Yeah, they'll go 230 miles an hour, but the thing's in the shop every week.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay.
so yeah, you're buying this high-end thing and you think you're getting good quality, which, okay, you are for that application.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a big thing here about, all right, who's really made in America anymore? Is it Ford, Chevy, Dodge, or anything? And please, for God's sake, don't buy any Dodge Chrysler product. I mean, they are so fucked in the head that nobody knows what the hell they're doing, including the dealership mechanics and whatever. That's been going on a long time. Now, the older Dodges and Chrysler products were great. I'm talking back in early 70s, 60s, stuff like that. But when you're looking at anything to buy, discounting it because it was made in a different country, the Japanese still have the higher quality, depending on which brand you're looking at. Like Toyota's really gone to the dogs. Well, they were never really that great, there are certain models that are worth more. And the other thing, Element talked about a four-wheel drive. If you need a four-wheel drive in your area, fine. But remember, any type of drivetrain problems are going to cost you 4 times as much to
That's
repair
right. That's right.
as anything else. And you're spending a lot of fuel and money on that to power all those pieces that you're not really utilizing, unless, like I said, if you do, then fine, it's justifiable. And I look at things from a mechanical standpoint first and foremost, and also a cost to benefit analysis on that. Buying a 4-cab truck with a short bed, to me, unless you've got a big family that you need to cram into that truck, or you're a contractor and you're hauling around your crew or whatever, a long bed makes more sense with a short cab, a two-door cab.
Okay.
Not to me. That's me. Okay, so everybody has different needs, but like I look at things. For me, having 2 used vehicles, I've got my old 97 Lincoln Town Car, which is mechanically perfect. It rides great, everything else. Doesn't cost me a penny other than when I, put gas into it or do a little bit of maintenance. And then I've got a 1990 Ford Ranger that looks like it rolled off a cliff. And it kind of just hangs around doing nothing. I rarely drive it. But when I do need a truck, I get in that and I utilize it to throw shit into. It's a beater, basically.
Right.
So for the cost of both, and I have minimum amount of insurance that I need legally on both the vehicles, which is costing me less than if I had full insurance on one newer vehicle, much less actually. And the tags, I got to pay for that, so no big deal. That makes more sense to me, because I'm not going to use my Lincoln as a pickup truck to get, like, if I need salt for my water system or whatever, I just get into the little beater, take it. It's in good mechanical shape. Air conditioning works, whatever, it rides fine. it does suck if you wanted to use it as a daily driver, but it's not costing me anything other than the little bit of insurance, which I think is about 110 a year,
Mm.
and the tag, which I think is about $42 a year.
Yeah,
So
that's not bad at all. I have a Mountaineer, and it's all-wheel drive V8. But the thing is that it serves me well where I live, just because you live in a Florida flatland, where I live
right,
in a hilly area that's covered by snow about 9 months a year, and
right, yeah,
for me it makes sense. So,
sure, and you have to weigh those options
yeah,
out. That this is what works for me, and like I said, I'm always looking at things from a mechanic's perspective, you know.
yeah.
And I've owned Mercedes, I've owned Mark Ford Lincolns, and the cars that got 6 miles to the gallon and shit. But that's no longer realistic nowadays,
No.
you know. And I'm a single guy, so basically, I'm not paying for somebody else to drive, or none of that crap applies to me. And all I can do when I give advice like this, give it from a mechanical standpoint of what makes sense in that respective. Now, everybody has a different need. Like you said, you've got snow, you've got, you got muddy conditions, you've got a lot of different things that you need to overcome. So to me, that would make sense for you.
Yeah, it works out really well where I live, because before that I was driving this Nissan, and I had a
Yeah,
hard
you're not going to
time.
be snowstorm. You're not going to be
Fuck
snow
no.
blazing in a Nissan.
I was fishtailing all over the place, man. I seriously thought I was going to go right off a bluff a few times, but not with what I got. Not now. So.
Well, look, we got a guy in here. Dancing band. He's fair enough, but 3 cars is 3 registration plus the insurance. All right, so I don't have 3. I got 2. I got the Lincoln, I got the Ford Ranger, and actually I do have the Harley, which is a tag, and it's cheap on the bike here in Florida. The 2 cars and insurance a year don't even cost me 1 month of a car payment. So, that everybody's buying things they can't afford, or well, they might be able to afford it, but they're always on that line, on that edge, that if something shits up, in a month or two, they might lose all that. With me, if I have to take the Ranger off the road for, let's say, a year or two because money, or whatever, there's nothing gained or lost. I still own the thing. They're not going to repossess it. I don't, it doesn't cost me anything at that point. So, and the insurance is so cheap, as I mentioned before, for me anyway, here in Florida. That may vary in other states. And again, in Florida for the Harley, you don't need insurance for a motorcycle in Florida. So I don't pay anything on that. I pay for the tag, and I think the tag on the bike is like $25 a year. Holy shit. You could make that selling lemonade out on the street. And if I had to, I could take both vehicles, both cars, truck, off the road and use my bike if I had to do the few things that I do. But that's my lot in life, not having to go to work, not having to do a lot of different things. So if I wanted to, I can fall back on that. And basically the bike, besides the tag, doesn't cost me anything. Really, I don't know. It's just hard to kind of drive the point home that own something that, yeah, you might have to put a little bit of money into it to repair it occasionally, as long as it's not a dead horse that you're trying to keep going. But it's not costing you that monthly payment, and it's not costing you the high rate of insurance because you don't need it. You don't need full coverage, theft, fire, and all that shit. If you're making payments on a car, they require it. So you're paying a lot of money for something you're rarely, if ever, going to get back, unless you want to do a Jewish lightning on your vehicle. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. You know, it's just made me reconsider some things there, but you know, you're completely. I completely agree with you on that. You know, I mean, you're right. Most people definitely can buy things they can't afford to keep up with a status or whatever, and whatever, but they end up in trouble. You know, it's like the kids that go off to college, they end up getting into debt, and they never end up using their degree or whatever. You know, it's just the same kind of deal. But I think I'm going to wrap up this live. I think we've been going for almost 3.5 hours. So, do you guys have any final things you'd like to add before I shut it down?
Oh, it's just great to be back again. Talk to you guys. Talk to you, Element, Warhorse, and Shining. I wish
Shining had to go. He couldn't even stay. Johnny ended up staying to the last of the duration. Shining
that's right, man. I
couldn't
wish
even do that. How dare he?
Lazarus didn't even show up at all.
No, I think he's got something going on or something. But
yeah, but yeah. Anyway, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you, Warhorse.
This was fun. Kind of made my Christmas day. It definitely went by a little bit better than getting pissed off at all the latest news.
Oh, that's all good. That's all part of it, though.
Yeah. I mean,
that's all part of it.
Takes us kind of back to the old days, you know, where we used to hang out and do these things and talk about all kinds of different shit, and it kind of takes you away from the reality of how much things suck.
So, yeah, and you've got to have at least a modicum of social interaction every now and then, and we can't really relate to those around us that think the same, so we have to do what we have to do.
Yep. Well, that was it for me.
Cool. Well, thanks everybody for joining, and we appreciate it. And hopefully, until next time, we will catch you then.
Okay.